Shows, fueled by True North Convenience Stores, WKRK-FM, and HD1 Cleveland Heights. An Odyssey Sports Station.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
This is 2020 Sports, brought to you by Bookman & Son Fine Jewelers. No pressure, engagement ring shopping at Bookman & Son, where jewelry shopping's made easy and comfortable. Find out more at bookmanandson.com. Cavaliers lost in Orlando last night, 128-122. Head coach Kenny Atkinson admits when it comes to defense, not one of the team's better efforts.
Our defense overall is just subpar. They're 20 for 25 at the rim, 37 free throws. It's like impossible to win an NBA game when you defend like that. Credit to them. They were flying around. We felt like we were a step behind all night.
James Harden, 30 points, but the Cavs lose for the second time in 3 games. Donovan Mitchell added 25 points, but only 9 of 24 shooting from the floor. Contract to Browns left guard Joel Bitonio expired on Wednesday. However, according to Mary Kay Cabot at Cleveland.com, the Browns giving Bitonio all the time he needs to decide about his future. In fact, Bitonio may actually wait until sometime next month to make a final decision. Browns officially announced the trade with the Texans, getting tackle Titus Howard as the NFL's new business year began on Wednesday. Browns also announced the official signings of free agents Elton Jenkins, Zion Johnson, Quincy Williams, and Jack Stoll. Meanwhile, indications are punter Corey Horkes is going to be coming back to the Browns next season. World Baseball Classic, Italy beats up on Mexico 9-1. The win by Italy gets the United States into the quarterfinals. Team USA will take on Canada tomorrow night down in Houston. Mid-American Conference women's quarterfinals, Miami beat Kent State 65-58. Ohio over Central Michigan 89-88. Ball State besting Bowling Green 75-63. Toledo top UMass 67-56. Semifinals tomorrow. Meanwhile, the men's quarterfinals today at Rocket Arena. Now you can find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next, time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
The Afternoon Drive.
The rule should be don't do something so stupid that it impacts next year as well.
Well, and so that's where I think a lot of people are so cavalier about this whole thing is because it feels like 2027 is the true mission. Don't do anything to screw up the idea that if you see something you like in the 2027 class, you should be able to get it.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Coach, I mean this sincerely. I went to Akron, but I'm a MAC guy. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I wish you continued success regardless of anything. Good luck to you this week. All the best to you and yours, and hope to talk to you again down the line.
Hey, you guys got a pretty good coach over there at Akron. I kind of know him.
I got to tell you, I was worried. I was worried when Keith Dambrot left, Coach. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, who's John Gross? It didn't work out at Illinois. Boy, he's been the cat's ass for us. I got to tell you.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I would hope that Travis Steele thinks that John Gross is the cat's ass.
You would hope. Here's what I can tell you. There is a woman named Barbara Steele. Barbara Steele happens to be the mother of Travis Steele, the coach that we just had on. Barbara Steele has another son who is a coach in college basketball. That son's name is John Gross. They are half-brothers. 10 years apart. Ken has left the room.
This is Cleveland's Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
All right, I was going to start with the Cavs. Get the John Gross clip ready. Forget it. Hi.
You really outdid yourself with that one.
I didn't know. How am I supposed to know all this stuff?
I knew that.
Congratulations, Mr. Basketball. I didn't know. How was I supposed to know right off the rip?
You went to Akron.
What's that got to do with anything? What on earth does that have to do with anything?
You don't follow them at all? You don't
yes,
know anything
I follow
about
them at all. I'm not sitting there going, hey, I'm watching all this Akron basketball. I wonder what John Gross's personal life was like when he was growing up. I don't do that.
I know Lima knew.
Because Lima's Lima.
Did you know, Owen?
Oh, yeah.
No, you didn't. You lied, sack of potatoes. No,
it's been all over Twitter for 2 years. They played each other in the MAC final last year.
I don't believe you for a second. No, you guys are full of hill of beans. No. The
way that Jason said, I go, this show started off, I go, Jason, did you hear the Travis Steele interview yesterday? No, I don't expect him to. He's doing things, even though he took a headshot with holding a basketball a few years ago, so he should know all of that.
In basketball.
Right? But I said no, and then we started explaining, he goes, yeah, they're brothers. It was just a very matter-of-fact statement. I felt like most people around here knew that.
I mean, you guys are acting like I didn't know, like, members of the Heart Foundation or something. It's like, come on.
I mean, I can't tell you
well, if his
Akron's
name was John the Anvil Gross, you might know. It's close.
Damn it.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you Akron's depth chart, but yes, I know that 2 head coaches in the MAC are, what, stepbrothers or half-brothers or something?
There's half-brothers.
Yeah.
Barbara Steele, they're the connection.
They're the connection. Mom.
So John Gross, the head coach of Akron, was on the midday show yesterday. They asked him about the clip. Here's John Gross's response.
Your Akron alum, Ken Carman, had a brain fart.
That's funny.
That was funny.
It's interesting. Yesterday, I did something like we're doing today, and someone asked me about him again. And again, I said earlier, they've had a great year. But I said, I didn't know we played them on Thursday. I've been preparing for the wrong team for 3 or 4 days. They should get rid of me in Akron. Holy cow, what a moron I've been. And of course, we laughed it off. But, like, the reality of it is they got a hard game tomorrow, and we got a hard game tomorrow.
I didn't know they were brothers.
I love when you make an ass of yourself.
That wasn't an ass of myself. That was not an ass.
Oh, that's 100%.
That's not
ass
an
of
ass.
yourself.
That's not
then why
an
did you
ass.
leave the room?
Because it was embarrassing.
Okay.
And he drug it out as far as he could, but it wasn't full ass.
Hey, you guys got a pretty good coach over there at Akron.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I was worried.
Right.
I was worried when Keith Dambrot left, Coach. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, who's John Gross? It didn't work out at Illinois. Boy, he's been the cat's ass for us. I got to tell you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Great. Maybe they hate each other. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, but maybe they do. The brothers don't always get along. Just saying, Jason. All right. Jason's in for Tone today. At 7 o'clock, I'm putting you on the hot seat. We're going to talk about this Shedeur Sanders business. So I'm not going to do it yet. I'm not doing it at 6:20. I'm not going to do it at 6:40. I will not eat green eggs and ham. I will tell you, we will do this at 7:02, Sam, I am.
Okay.
That's when we'll do it.
Can we agree on, like, one segment and that's it?
No.
I'm not going to do this I'm not doing this for 3 hours.
Well, that's why I said I'm doing it at 7. Then we have Mary Kay at 8:20. We have About Last Night at 7:45. I'll throw up a stop sign. I'm not just going to take calls of people who hate you for the rest of the morning. I'm not going to do that.
I don't care
I'm
about
not
that.
going to berate you for the rest of the morning. Okay,
you have no reason to.
Listen, it's not going to be 3 hours.
However, take on the Odyssey app, if you'd like to do the coming in hotline, I'll take all of your Jason hate on there, and maybe we can compile it.
If you want to use the coming in hotline, if I can't take your call and you want to use the coming in hotline, you go right on ahead. Go to the free Odyssey app.
That'll be fun. Go for it.
All you guys watching on YouTube Live right now, which I'm sure the comments are just impossible to repeat on the air.
I thought I'd be wheeled in on a 2-wheeler like Hannibal Lecter today. And
well, we'll see how the rest of the morning goes. You might be wheeled out of here like that. So if you want to go ahead and leave a 30-second, I mean, they give you 2 minutes. If you leave 2 minutes of hate on there, you ain't going to play it. All right? Owen's the keeper of the keys. If you can't be cussing, no, try not to cuss.
Yeah, I probably won't even press play if it's that.
Yeah, if you start with the F word or anything like that, it's over. But you got 30 seconds. Go ahead and let it ride. Use the free Odyssey app. You got to like and subscribe to the free Odyssey app. It's absolutely free. Okay? Favorite the station, I should say. And then there's the Listen Live button, and right next to it says Leave a Message. It's the coming in hotline. Go ahead, 30 seconds. We'll play it. We will play it because Jason is in for Anthony today.
Look at me making money for you guys.
Thank you.
Look at me in here making money for you guys.
I have 3 kids, and I eat a lot, so they have to eat too. So thank you very much for doing your part. For taking care of us in the Jason Lloyd telethon, apparently. And we'll take care of everything. So Jason's in for Anthony today. Anthony is on his way to Dayton to do high school girls basketball in the state championships. Congratulations to him. I'll be watching later on. I think the first game's at 11 for Anthony. So he's got that going for him down there in Dayton, so it's going to be a fun time for him. Anyway, so 7 o'clock. I'm not going to do it before because we're going to talk Kyler Murray at 6:20. I don't want you sitting there talking about turning it into a Shedeur segment either. At 7:02, I'm going to ask you about this Shedeur business that everybody in the internet is tagging me in saying that you're a piece of garbage and we shouldn't have you on the air. So anyway, the Cavs lost last night. See, you thought I was going to do I got free agency, I got Jason, I got Joel Batoni, I got the whole thing. Can I share some with you? One, the defense is terrible, and I think that some of it's like, all right, they're in a transition phase. They're figuring out things as they go. There's no Jared Allen because of the knee knock. He should be back here soon. Max Strus might be coming back on Sunday. So you got a lot of things that are going for you there. It's disappointing when they lose. However, I do get a feeling, and I go from some members of our own station, because I'm sure you were a person, Jason, who was supportive of the trade for James Harden.
Yeah.
Well, you look old with glasses on.
I know.
You look real old. Good God. I like the hills.
I think I look great for my age, actually.
You supported the trade. I don't know. The things you're saying about a certain quarterback, they're starting to age you like a president here. You supported the trade.
Yeah.
Okay, I supported the trade.
Yeah.
Not everybody on the station supported the trade. And there are definitely listeners who did not support the trade. And I am willing to say that there is a hefty group of fans out there. And maybe I'll be wrong by the end of this. I mean, I can't get half brothers right of Mid-American Conference basketball coaches, so maybe I won't get this right about the NBA. I think there is a lot of fans where they really like Darius Garland. They argued for Darius Garland. I argued for Darius Garland, but the better basketball player is James Harden.
Yes.
And I feel that they had felt that if this team does not go to the finals, because ever since they lost to Boston last Sunday, it's like, all right, you're good, but how good are you and how worthy was the trade? If this is a team that doesn't make the NBA Finals, then they would have rather just held on to Darius Garland. Now, you know and I know, it's not about what you know. It's about what you can deliver in an argument to the people who feel that way. Because I know what you're going to say. I know you, and you're going to go, doesn't matter. A move had to be made because if you don't approach a move that was strong to get you closer to the NBA Finals, Donovan was going to be upset, and then 100%. All hell would break loose this summer.
100%.
I knew what you were going to say. I know you. I know you. I know your family. I know your brothers. Okay? It's not about that. Without you saying that, Donovan would. Why are they better off with James Harden if they're not going to go to the place they still needed to go? I will agree with you, I'm sure, but I need somebody who's covered the NBA, traveled to the NBA, done the Magic City story, the whole thing. I need you to explain that.
Because James is better. He's better and he's more durable. It got to the point you couldn't count on Darius to be available on the court
I agree.
When you needed him most.
Totally agree. But you have to admit, all those things are true, and I felt that way. And when they had the possibility to trade for James Harden, I got excited. But I also know that James Harden has a reputation around this league, earned or not, and a lot of it is earned. I mean, let's be honest, because we deal with salacious stories, so we're not going to really pay attention to 31 points a night or things like that, or playing 90% of possible basketball games, which is unheard of in this generation.
He's a hooper. He likes to play.
He is a guy who's sturdy, durable, plays, continues to play, rarely takes a night off. Which he was on a team that I think everybody just assumed because he was on the Clippers and it's West Coast and it's not the Lakers. I think a lot of people just assumed he was sitting next to Kawhi Leonard every game. I'm dead serious about that. I was shocked he plays in as many games as he plays in, because if I'm watching West Coast basketball, I'm sorry, I'm not really watching the Clippers. I'm watching the Lakers on a weekend. Like I watch L.A. and New York after the Cavs game this on Sunday. Yeah. Like I'm watching Lakers. I'm watching Warriors. I'm just not watching the Clippers. I haven't watched them since Chris Paul, really.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, and even myself to some degree, I got to admit, thought that he was just street clothes with Kawhi Leonard and that was it. And I think he has a bad reputation with outsiders, and they were worried about him coming here, and they're worried about how it's going to end. Well, and it's probably not going to end well, but
there's always an expiration date.
Yes.
With James. And excuse me, I was talking to somebody with the Clippers when they made the trade, and he was saying like he's great. He was great with us. Harden was great. Like I got nothing negative to say because they got out at the right time. They got out before the alarm clock went off. As soon as things started to turn, and with the money and everything else. So yeah. I mean, there will come a point if the Cavs hold on to him too long where maybe it goes south. But I think we're a long ways from that right now. He's a better player now. Did you cut your window down by trading for somebody 10 years older? Yeah, you did. But the league was going to cut it anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the apron. I don't want to bore everybody with the apron rules and everything else.
But we've discussed it to death. I think
the league was going to cut your window.
I do think the general fan knows that. I really do.
So, like, it was time to get the plane off the ground. And like the Cavs have talked for years about, we got a long runway, okay, but the plane still hadn't got out. You hadn't got out of the second round. You got to get the plane off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give yourself a better pilot, I guess is the best way I would put it. And James is the better pilot. And I would push back even on the final. You got to make the Eastern Conference Finals. You have to make the conference finals.
I penciled them into the finals, and I'm not erasing the pencil yet. Based on one game on a Sunday, I'm not going to do it. I still think the best is yet to come. But I think that also the best is yet to come for Boston. I did couch it, and I say, hey, I penciled them into the finals. If they don't get to the NBA Finals, unless they go out there and just roll the basketballs out there and walk backwards for 4 games in a series against Boston, and actually like don't try, and they're going to try, I'm going to go, hey, Boston's a really good team. There's still some things that you got to do. Like, it's tough, but I'm not going to sit there and call them a bunch of failures. I'll be disappointed because it's my favorite basketball team bowing out of the NBA playoffs, but they'd be in the Eastern Conference Finals. It is a step forward, and I would say as long as everybody's healthy and not like completely ruined physically at the end of that series, I'd go, hey, give me an offseason, then give me an entire year ramp-up instead of half a year ramp-up where you can barely practice and you had guys who were already injured beforehand. That's where my stance is on that.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of both sides of my mouth, I understand. I can only tell you how my emotions are going to be. If I'm sitting there calling everybody a son of a whatever at the end of that series, if they go 6 games with the Boston Celtics, I think that would be a little disingenuous, would you not? Coming from me, I think that'd be a little ridiculous.
Is that the only team that you're giving them grace for?
Frankly, I think they are a horrible matchup for I'm glad you asked that question. I think they're a horrible matchup for one other team, and I will tell you why in 5 minutes why I feel that way about 2 other teams as well in this conference. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
216-474-0092. This Cavs conversation brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea. They ask you to please enjoy your hard iced tea from Surfside responsibly, of course. The Big Shador conversation, 7:02 with Jason, not before. And if he's willing to be a backup somewhere else before starting for you, it should kill this conversation before it ever starts. Ken Carman, Jason in for Tone. Jason Lloyd, mind you, on the Fan. Extend technology.
71 north from Center to West 25th. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
The NFL landscape can change at any moment. Free agency is open for business, and this is the place to talk about it. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 8:20 this morning. I almost said 8:45. She's joined us at 8:20 every Thursday for like 10 years. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. She said Andrew Berry aced the offseason. We'll ask her about that coming up at 8:20. They kind of put themselves in a bit of a predicament to ace that offseason. Also, we all love Joel Bitonio. I hope you remember that because I think you're going to be a little annoyed coming up at 7:20. 7:02, we're going to get to the Shador stuff. I'm not going to turn it into a Shador show. I swear to you. I swear on my own children, Jason, it's not going to turn into a Shador show. There's probably going to be more than one segment. I ain't going to lie to you. But I'm not going to turn it into 3 hours of you getting beat up. There's at least going to be a break from Mary Kay.
Just to be clear, I don't care about the beating. I don't care about that part.
Oh, sir, you say.
No.
Sure.
No, what's funny about all this is, like, I'm just being honest. And I'm not the one that goes there. The conversation goes there, and then I have to respond. I'm not the one running out with a megaphone saying, this guy stinks. Like that. It's always everybody wants to talk about.
To see you with a megaphone.
Everybody wants to talk about the quarterback of the Browns, so inevitably I get drug into this, and I'm just not gonna lie.
We're about to talk about the quarterback of the Browns coming up here momentarily. But you asked me a question right before the break because I had said yes, I haven't penciled into the finals. If they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to Boston, I'm not going to call them a bunch of words. Like, as long as they show effort, for crying out loud, and they will. As long as if they lost, I'd go, okay, one team's better. I mean, one team has Jason Tatum, and and he's back, and they got Jaylen Brown, and those are two really, really tough players. Jaylen Brown is an MVP candidate every single year, for crying out loud. This is very difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
But you asked me, are you going to give them that type of grace with other teams? And I can't say I will. Like, if Jason Tatum, or I shouldn't say him, he's a bad example. If somebody were to go down and it opens that runway for the Cavs in the NBA playoffs, and we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't know how to mix up, but or are you saying just not in the Eastern Conference Finals? If they're not in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to be really, really disappointed.
What?
If they lose to Boston in the second round, how things shake out.
What
it may go.
Boston in the second round.
It's not necessarily maybe as much, and thinking about this, it's not necessarily maybe as much as the round as it is the opponent.
Yeah.
The Celtics, I can understand. The Pistons, I think they're a terrible matchup for the Pistons. I think J.B. Bickerstaff knows that. I think they know that. They play very confidently against Detroit. Orlando, I know they just lost to Orlando. I still think they get Orlando in the postseason. Paulo Banchero has played much better than when they played them earlier this year. They've played much better. I mean, that's their fifth win in a row last night against us.
Yeah.
Not against us, but I mean in general.
Yeah.
They picked up their fifth win in a row, their latest win against us last night. If they lost to Orlando, I'd be pretty upset. If they lost to the Pistons, I'd be pretty upset. If they lost to the Knicks, I'd be beside myself.
Why?
Because I think that I think the moves that they have made and talking to people who, because I go to bed during the weeknights right after a Cavs game. Talking to people who consume this league, who stay up way past me.
Lima.
No, not him.
Okay.
I mean, other people who consume the league and watch the West Coast games and see all this. This is why I'm so excited for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis in the postseason. I think that they can create problems for a team like New York. I think that they're a much better matchup against the Knicks now. And it's not just James Harden. I think it's because of the other two players that they have. I think they're a much harder matchup against the Knicks now than what they were easily the previous years. I think they're a good matchup, and I also think that, again, you lose to Boston, that might be the natural order of things. You lose to the Knicks. I've lost to the Knicks before as a Cavs fan. Yeah. It's horrific. It's 10 times worse than losing to any other team. It was 10 times worse than losing to Indiana. It was 10 times worse than losing to any other team that you have. And that I would probably get emotional and pretty upset with and start saying things I regret.
Boy, I thought the Indiana one was devastating.
It wasn't good, but I remember.
I put that one as worse than the Knicks.
But through the Indiana series, I remembered because we had Brad Doherty on. Owen knows this. We had Brad Doherty on right before the series, and me and Lima are whooping it up. And Brad Daugherty, who will whoop it up with the best of them, was like, kind of hemming and hawing. And he reminded me of what you were saying a couple years ago before, was it the Knicks series?
Yeah, it was the Knicks.
And I'm like, this sounds very familiar. Like, we got done with that interview, and this is probably before cameras, and me and Lon were looking at each other going, something ain't right here.
Yeah.
And you watch that series play out, and I'm going, Brad Daugherty was telling us without trying to tell us that he doesn't think they're going to win it.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't as shocked. I was disappointed, but I wasn't as shocked and surprised and angry as I was with other series. That's where the whole, the label, I got beat up for it yet last week. That's where the whole label thing gets brought out. And labels are always missing context about soft and things like that. I didn't think they were necessarily soft in the Indiana series. I just think that they were a terrible matchup. And then because guys they have their history, I think a lot of general fans just go back to how they felt after the Knicks series and Mitchell Robinson making fun of them. And people have long memories about that. I didn't think that they got beat because they were soft last year against Indiana. I think that they were a terrible matchup for Indiana, or Indiana was a terrible matchup for them, and they ended up losing that series.
They should have beat Indiana. Now, hand up, Indiana was better than I gave them credit for going in.
Indiana, yes. But when
the Cavs still should have won.
I don't agree, because if you look back at the history of it, it's like we never were able to beat them at home. We got one game in the series. It was. I just felt it was like, man, there's something missing here. Where I think the league's better than it's been, where matchups matter more than they used to. But my God, this is terrible. That's why I say what I say about the Knicks. I think this is a team that's definitely ready to beat the Knicks. I think it's a team that would definitely beat the Pistons. I think that they would beat Orlando in a series, even though Orlando is really doing well right now. Boston is the team that I go, let me slow it down here.
I want to be careful with this, because I don't want this to get twisted. I do think they would beat Orlando in a playoff series. I think it would be really, really hard. I think that's a bad way to start things off. Like what they had last year with Miami, when they just smoked them, it wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get that if you get Orlando again. Like Orlando is that big, tough, physical type of team, long and athletic type of team that gives the Cavs problems. So people that think like, yeah, all right, whatever, they'll beat Orlando, be careful with that. I do think that they win, but I think that is another knockdown, drag-out series.
I think I'd kind of like it.
What? That matchup?
The thing, when we watch Miami, and you know this, there was some really irresponsible things said after the Miami series. I mean, good God, the Ty Jerome stuff alone was enough to make you slam your head in a car door.
But to go back to the Indy, like I was talking to GM, the Cavs went down 2-0, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
They
blew game 2.
Yeah. So I was talking to a GM after that game who said, like, the Cavs are acting like the series is, like, look at their body language. They're acting like the series is over. Like, they're the better team. Why are they so despondent like this? And he was 100% right. Like, it was over. They lost 2 at home, and they should have been able to come back and win that, and they didn't. So that's the side that I'm like interested to see, is just how mentally tough is this team when they face a little bit of adversity, because they're going to face adversity. And you mentioned the defense off the top of the first segment. Yeah, the defense has slipped a little bit, but you don't. I was talking about this last year. You don't have to win in the NBA. You don't have to have elite defense. If you can only have one, you can't have a horrendous defense. But if you're telling me my choices are elite defense and mediocre offense, or elite scoring and mediocre defense, I'll take the scoring every time. And the Cavs have that.
I think, yeah.
So you can win in the play. You don't have to be top 10 to win defensively, to win at a high level.
I also think, and I think this is a cop-out for a lot of people, I think, though, that defense naturally tends to get better in the postseason. I think guys, obviously, they lock harder in, they try harder.
The pace slows, the tempo slows, becomes more of a half-court game, and yeah. But I'll make sure my computer's off.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You sure? Because you look like hell.
I look great.
Nah, whatever. Go ahead.
No, I lost the train of thought now. Whatever. It's fine.
You're just done talking about the Cavs now because I said you were ugly?
No.
Okay. I didn't know. All I got to do to win an argument is say Jason doesn't look great. Here we go. Outstanding. 216-474-0092. No, I'm glad you asked me that question, because if I say these things now, some people don't believe this, even on our own station. if I say these things now, I have to answer for them later. I'm not just trying to give them a bunch of outs for losing to Boston. I mean, yeah, you're going to hold them accountable. Is it still the most expensive roster in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken?
Who, Boston?
No, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you have to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
I'm holding them accountable, but there is such a thing as, hey, this is a natural order of things. I'm not going to lose my mind here. And then we're going to have to see what happens because of the whole, over the summer. And I'm not trying to turn it into a conversation about who, but who's probably maybe fixing to come back, and we're going to have to make that mix up. So you're going to have to try to find a way to make all that work and to get all that stuff going. To me, it's explainable if they lose to Boston. It's not incomprehensible to lose to some of these other teams, but it's unacceptable to lose to a couple of these other teams that are at the top of the East.
And if Detroit,
I would be completely beside myself.
Even though they have
Detroit would give me an ulcer.
I'm looking up their winning percentage.
They're
I know
really
it's
good.
over 700.
They're not bad. They're not a bad team. I don't want to underrate them. I just think that they haven't been through the postseason wars yet. They got some really good players. I think that they will try to get physical with you. They'll try to fight you in a phone booth. They got some really good players, but I don't think that they've been through the types of struggles that teams usually go through in the postseason. I don't think they've been through it yet. I think the Cavs have. I think the Cavs, with their experience and the matchup, I think makes them a much easier opponent to take on than some of these other teams we've talked about.
I just don't think the Pistons have enough shooting. And it's sort of what JB had when he was here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Is you got a good team that fights, that plays hard, physical, hard defensive team. They just don't have enough shooting. And you cannot win in today's NBA without shooting.
643. If Kyler Murray is willing to be a backup somewhere else before starting for us, then I think it should kill this conversation right here and now. This is why I'm so wild after what happened yesterday afternoon. That audio coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan.
It's Cavs season. canvaspublichouse.com.
271 north from Route 8 to Wilson Mills is clear of accidents, as well as 71 north from Center to West 25th. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Jason is an entitled pig, and we'll talk about that at around 7:25 this morning. Also, 7:02 this morning, there'll be a lot of people who are upset with Jason. I'm going to get into it with him about this Shador business. He set the internet on fire, and I promise everybody I won't turn it into a 3-hour Shador show. Hell, we just did 40 minutes on the Cavs. I can talk with Jason about anything. We'll talk more Cavs coming up here later on in the show. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us at 8:20. I am out. And part of the reason is that he's out on us. Is this true? John told me right before the show. John, get on the microphone. Are you there, son?
Yes, sir.
I don't like calling him son. He's a nice young man. I'm getting older. You know how this works. John.
Yep.
Well, he's such a good kid. You'll love him, Jason. All right. Is it true that Kyler Murray, where did you hear this rumor that this isn't from Adam Farrell or Adon Schefter or whatever the other things that you're getting fooled in that you're sending to the group? This is true that Kyler Murray might be willing to back up Matt Stafford?
Yeah.
Where did you see this?
I saw it on Underdog, which they only take the guys that are like the Adam Schefter type guys.
Okay. Is Underdog one of them things that everybody's talking about where they don't get their money back or anything like that? What's that? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of this before because I'm getting older and you're younger, so that's why I have to ask you about these things. So they're legitimate, right?
It's a betting website.
Oh, okay. So they're legitimate then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they're legitimate, and they've taken a report, and you saw it, that says that Kyler Murray might be interested in backing up Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
All right. John, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. We'll talk to you at 7:45 for about last night, if not sooner. Guys, if he's willing to back up Matt Stafford, what are we talking about here? I mean, what are we having a conversation? I mean, we could sit here and shout into the wind. We can have these conversations. Hell, you know what? I'll do you even one better. I'll play Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin from yesterday saying how the Browns need to go out and get Kyler Murray.
You need to stabilize this thing. And you need to win with Todd Monken out of the gate and worry about finding that long-term quarterback in real time. It might not work out. It doesn't work out for plenty of teams, but plenty of teams try and stink their way to a quarterback and end up with Josh Rosen.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm not trying to stink my way into a quarterback. I am not trying to tank it. I just don't believe that Kyler Murray, Jason is in for Anthony today. I just don't believe Kyler Murray's that guy. I don't. People go, Kenny's better than Shador. Yeah, I need way better than Shador. I'm not denying that he's better than Shador. I'm denying that he's the right quarterback for our future.
Well, first of all,
I see. Well, go ahead.
Well, first of all, what is your? And I'll get back to this Murray and Rams thing in a second because I just did a quick Google. What is your intentions for 2026? Are you trying to win as many games as you can?
I'm trying to win as many games as I can without setting ourselves further back.
So if you want to win as many games as you can, why didn't you take a more talented, who you just admitted is a more talented quarterback for the league minimum?
Without trying to set us back.
How does that set you back?
Caveat.
How does that set you back?
Because I believe that you can be in a situation where, like a Daniel Jones, right? I'm not going to sit there and do victory laps over a guy getting hurt. He played very well last year, and they're bringing him back. But I think overall, I'm not a big believer in Daniel Jones. And I think that Daniel Jones can get you to a meaty middle where you can flirt with the playoffs, perhaps even make a wild card, depending on good God, depending on your division. Who knows? I just don't think that they are serious long-term options. And I think that they stop you from finding somebody better, finding somebody that has a real high ceiling. And I know I'm trying to thread a very, very small needle here. And it's almost impossible to do. And you can even argue with me it's unrealistic. But I'm sick and tired of trying to force things that aren't there. It's not as much as being like, yeah, do I like Shador? Obviously. Everybody knows that. I like him because of his father. Do I think he's going to be the next big thing? I've never claimed once that he's going to be a franchise quarterback. Never a once on this radio station. And I'm sure Keith can go back and find it. But I like him better than Deshaun Watson for all the reasons I've said before. I don't know if he's better than Deshaun Watson, but I like him more than Deshaun for all the reasons I've said before. I'd rather just sit here and look at this and go, don't mess this up any further. Let's get through this year. I'll see what Shedeur does. I'll see what Deshaun does. And then next year, I'm not going to unveil my entire plan yet because a lot of things have to shake out first. But I think I have a plan to make this thing much more stable for the future. But I have to go through a rocky road here.
So, first of all, all right. Well, the Deshaun thing, like I've been on record. If you're telling me you're making me choose between Deshaun and Shedeur, I'll take Shedeur every single time. Like there is no point whatsoever in playing Deshaun. And how can a team whose owner came out twice and said it was a swing and a miss, how can you then run him out as a starting quarterback?
How can Eric DeCosta go out there and go back on a trade and then say that he's the victim, basically, out of all this?
That's totally different.
It's not.
It's completely
Is it really? Because what I'm saying is that teams say things all the time and take it back. Teams do things all the time and take it back.
The owner comes out and calls the biggest trade in franchise history a mistake.
Look at some of the
things.
things.
And then run him out as the starter?
I'm sorry. Did Jerry Jones not do a 6-part documentary about some of these things that he has said in the past and still was able to make a deal work? I mean, that's Jerry Jones, for crying out loud. Guys say things all the time. I agree with you, and it's the first thing people would say if they start Deshaun Watson, without a doubt. But that's up to Shedeur. That's up to Shedeur to look good enough to play well enough to be the starter for this team.
Part two of that is in what world would you ever sign Deshaun to an extension?
Never.
I don't care what he does next year. I'm not signing him to another contract.
I don't think he'd want to. I don't think he'd want to stay.
I don't think he would either. So why are you wasting your time? But Kyler Murray to me is not the same as Deshaun. Kyler Murray, first, I don't think Kyler Murray's coming here. So this is a moot point.
That's part of what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't see this report about Matthew Stafford.
Okay, so get to that. So here's the line.
Okay.
Here's what I found on a quick 10 second, because I hadn't heard that until 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Quick Google search. John Gambadaro in Phoenix, who he covers a lot of different teams, I believe, if it's the guy I'm thinking of. Quote, while a starting job like the one that could be had in Minnesota is a priority, Murray's camp will explore several 2026 backup options with a path to start in 2027, such as the Los Angeles Rams with Matthew Stafford. That's just sort of throwing it out there. That's like I've been in that position where you kind of know something, but you don't want to commit to it too much. Mm-hmm. I think you are making quite a big leap off. If that's it.
I didn't make the big leap. Go after John if you want to. I think that John's just reading the thing, and if it's one example of being a backup, that's a good situation if you're going to be a backup. That's a really good spot.
Well, sure, because how much longer is Stafford going to play?
Of course, this year, and that's it. Physically, he may not make it throughout the entire year.
And if you can go sit for a year, even if you are there temporarily, if you can go sit for a year with Sean McVay, that's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. So that's part of my argument, is that am I going to sit here and build up? I don't think that Kyler Murray is going to come here to fix his career. I think that's the thing that so many people have been.
This is where careers go to die.
Well, that's what I've been yelling at Anthony for the last 3 weeks, Jason, is that we keep coming up. We're spinning this wheel of quarterbacks that people want to get because their names are not Shedeur Sanders and they're not Deshaun Watson. All right, I've entertained it, but at the same time, you guys keep giving, not you, but Anthony and a lot of people keep giving me these guys that have revigorated their careers, and I'm going, wait a minute, they're going from the Jets to the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. Good organizations. Okay, they're going from the Cleveland Browns, and they ended up in a roundabout way to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is a better situation than ours. You're going from bad organizations to better organizations. Why are we the team that's going to fix anybody's career? They're going to avoid this. So I do think it's a moot point in so many ways, but also I've never been a Kyler Murray believer. I don't think he's sturdy enough. I don't think he's big enough. I don't think that he has the passion for it. I don't think he's obsessed with being a winner in this league. I don't. Yeah. I've never believed that. And you can go back and check anything if you want to. And it's part of the reason why I'm out. I want to get through this year. I want to see where we're at the end of this year. If Shedeur flies, great story. If Deshaun Watson plays, there's for one reason, and that's because he's undeniable to the rest of the teammates in there that he would give you the best chance to win if you stick with this QB room. I don't want to make the type of investment that I think they would make in a drafted quarterback after Fernando Mendoza. I shudder at that thought. So I'm not trying to tank or anything like that. I'm trying to look forward to a brighter future with somebody I think I can count on again. And it's a hard argument to give everybody, and I'm not making any friends right now on March 12th, but I can only give what I think is going to be practical in the long term. That's where I'm at on that. 216-474-0092. Can I get your answer on that when we come back?
Sure.
Okay. You got 60 seconds when we come back, and then we're getting to the other thing.
Oh, jeez.
You said it. You said it.
Yeah?
And I'm gonna examine it now.
Oh, okay, great.
Mr. Anybody But Shador.
Boy, yeah, I'm really scared about Ken Carman examining something I said.
Hey, the phone lines are open. All you guys on YouTube Live, 216-474-0092. You can also use the free Coming In Live or Coming In Hot button live right there, the Coming In hotline right there on 92.3 The Fan on the free Odyssey app. You go right on ahead, let them have it. You got to get through Owen, though. It takes 30 seconds. Don't be a cussing on our phone lines. 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Jason, the hater, in for Tone on The Fan. Window Nation, windownation.com. The deal.
have two options right now, three if you count Dylan Gabriel. But like last year, Andrew Berry gave Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff more options than even that. I wouldn't close the book on them acquiring someone else, whether it's through the draft, a trade, free agency, whatever.
Listen for the MMQB's Albert Breer, Tuesdays at 5:20 on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Yes! Ain't gonna be the rest of the show, I promise you. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us at 8:22 this morning. Jason Lloyd is in for Anthony today. You can, of course, if you don't have time to get on the phone and wait to yell at Jason, you can use the Coming In hotline. You can comment on YouTube Live. I'm sure they're sterling. I haven't seen the YouTube Live right now. Have you seen some of the comments?
Yeah, it's the same thing it always is.
You can, of course, watch us on YouTube Live for absolutely free. Feel free to comment if you want to. Remember, all guests appear on the Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. So Jason is in with us today, and I've been waiting for this all week because I don't know when it was. Was it Monday afternoon or something? I'm looking at my phone. I go, what? And I got people looking at me, like tweeting at me going, how dare you associate with this man? I'm like, what are we talking about here? So Jason was on another program.
Nice coat on.
And he had said, "Oh, it's a very nice coat, the leather jacket." When I can't believe you didn't. But if you're going to talk tough to all the Shador fans, I can't believe you ain't wearing the leather jacket right now.
It was
the collar up.
It was a shacket. What do you call those things? Those like shirt jackets or the shackets?
I have no idea.
It's nice though. I like it.
I've worn the same 6 hoodies for 14 years. I don't know.
Yeah. If it ain't a Streetsboro wrestling or youth football thing, or Iowa State or Penn State, now I ain't wearing it. Anyway. So what did you say to make everybody upset this week?
It was totally unintentional.
It was?
Yes. The only thing I said was like, "What you want me to ignore this stuff?" Like
unintentional. You could have just not said it.
Well, we're having a quarterback discussion.
Okay, and then have this score. What did you say?
All I said was like, when enough people tell you something, people just want me to turn a blind eye to it and ignore it and act like it never happened and just go on like you just. I'm not doing my job if I'm not being honest and saying this stuff. And then I don't know why this one took off. Like there was no reason for it to take off the way that it did.
Because it has a certain name to it. Anything. I could say anything.
Ken, I go out of my way not to talk about this stuff because this is where it always
leads. Well, you're going to talk about it now. I'm going to go out of my way to make you talk about it.
But this is why. Because I get dragged into these things. I don't go out here and like promote, hey man, this is what I think. Like it comes up in the course of conversation, and I'm just not going to lie. Like I'm just telling you, I was being honest. Mm-hmm. And people can say, "Oh, you're making it up," and why are you lying?
What was the story you told? Tell everybody the story.
All I said was, enough people have said things like, "Doesn't watch a ton of film, doesn't really know how to watch film, had to sort of be shown how to watch film, doesn't know what he's looking at on the field, doesn't know when he's hot." All this stuff, and people just lost their minds over it. I've been doing this 25 years.
He hasn't gotten any better during the year about that?
I have never seen a story like this where what is said behind the doors and the public narrative is this far off. I've never seen anything like this. It's stunning in so many ways. Well, 25 years. Like, listen, here's the thing.
Yeah.
How long have you known me? Over a decade. We've been doing this over
16,
a decade.
I knew you since Akron, so 16 years.
Yeah.
17 years. No, I've known you 17 years. Yeah.
Okay. In 17 years, have you ever known me to be like the hot take artist who just comes out and just says crap just to get a reaction out of people?
No.
Have I ever done that?
No. Bring me a Bible.
Why would I start now? No. Why would I start now at this point in my career? Well, I don't have to do that crap.
Midlife crisis?
I don't have to do that stuff. Like, I'm never on social media. I never go on social media. I never post anything. I never tweet anything. So what am I trying to gain from this?
Well, what my issue of it seems to be is that, my issue is that everybody knows I've been used as a useful idiot before. I've been a patsy in the past. I have not heard the same thing. And I have not heard the same thing. How do I be careful? From what I believe are the same sources. Now, maybe they just decide that they're not going to tell me. They might know that Kenny's an excitable boy. But I think I got a pretty strong reputation in not letting cats out of the bag on certain issues. I think I've ran into one problem in nearly 2 decades where I might have accidentally let a cat out of a bag. There's been one situation, obviously, the Patsy situation with Sam Darnold. But the same people, I'm not calling you a liar. Let that be known. I believe you with what you say. It concerns me when you say these things. But I think from a lot of the same folks, and I don't talk to as many around the league as you do. That's given. Your career's longer than mine. You've done more traveling than me. But I've not heard it to that degree. I've heard concerns. The not knowing how to watch film thing, that's been something we've talked about. That's been something that's been discussed on the show. Anthony and me, you and me, Danny and me, Daryl and me, Lance Riesland and me. It doesn't matter. It's been discussed. The hard work thing, see, I feel I've seen different and I feel I've heard different about the hard work thing. That's where I go, what happened during the year? Again, you are not lying to me. I don't believe you're lying to me. What happened during the year that rubbed the sources the wrong way that they would say such a thing to you? That's what bothers, because I know I've seen it different, and they didn't just do it in front of me. I happened to be there at certain times. They didn't just do it. I wouldn't think they would do it just going, hey, Kenny's standing over here. Let's do something because we know it's going to get out there. At least I hope not, because if they're doing that, then they're really not caring about winning football games. Owen's giving me this weird look right now that I don't like. You got a mic?
You do talk on the radio every day in Cleveland. I mean, people say things. People have messages that they want to get out there.
So they know that if they, I do say this a lot when people see the Instagram videos of Deshaun working on. I go, yeah, I was standing there. I was right there. I saw the filming going on. I saw the James Cameron work right in front of my very own eyes. It's like standing there watching Titanic. Bad example, but still, I'm just thinking of a James Cameron movie. Avatar. Bingo. There we go. Like that. Did he make Avatar? Regardless.
Yeah, he did.
They wouldn't do that just because I was standing there, Jason. They don't care that much. I know I've seen the extra work being put in. I know I've seen it. You're not a liar. I'm not calling you a liar for the third time over. Let's make that very clear. But when I've seen some of the extra work, I'm going, I can't accuse him of being not a hard worker. I've seen the extra stuff with my very own eyes. So it scares me going, are we just doing this for show, knowing that the useful idiot over there in the corner is going to say this on the radio and make me look good or make our quarterback look better? Is that it? You could accuse me of that. Fine. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I've been embarrassed. I got embarrassed yesterday on the radio, for crying out loud.
This is more of this would be like an hour-long sit-down podcast, not a 7:10 a.m. radio discussion.
Oh, no, it's 7:10. We're doing it.
But no, because I do think that there is a way to do this job to get information out of people. And it's you build trust and you tell them things that you make it clear to them that you already know certain things, so that they're not the ones that tell you things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And once you do that, it changes the conversation. When you approach somebody and say, hey, I know this, this, and this, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. So it's different than just walking up to somebody and saying, hey, tell me everything bad about it. Like, that's not how you do it.
But I've never done that. If anything, it's been offered. I have been asked before by of all three teams, what did they say this week? And I've told them what some of the listeners think.
Yeah.
And they've either agreed or disagreed, depending on what week it was and which team was playing.
But for whatever reason, and I think teams would tell you this, the relationship between writers and teams is completely different than any other form of media. It just is. And writers, like I know in the NBA, I had this discussion with people at the league office of how sacred that relationship is between writers and the team, because the writers are the ones that are there all the time. And the writers are, and the NFL locker rooms are open and everybody's sort of got access. But the writers are the ones that are there when everybody else is not, when nobody else is. And the curtain gets, ask Fedor sometime.
I can't. I'm not allowed.
But Chris could speak to this on how the relationship changes when you are a writer versus everything else, and the curtains that get pulled back and the doors that get opened versus every other form. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm just being transparent and honest that there's a different medium there. And when you can have conversations with people and you tell them, like, I know this, this, and this, and I'm not writing this right now, but this is what I know, it leads to far different conversations than probably what you have had.
How much
That's
changes?
the only thing. And I'm not trying to speak down to you in any form or capacity.
I said you have a longer, more established career, and you've done more traveling than I have. Did I not? I asked the questions. I'm getting the answers.
It's funny to me. Excuse me. It's funny to me that, like, I covered the NBA for 10 years at a pretty high level. I had a pretty intimate relationship with one of the greatest basketball players on the history of the planet.
Enough about Lou Williams.
So why then would I start just making things
I don't know.
up?
I don't know. I'm not accusing you of making things up. What I'm trying to find out is what happened where I saw hard work, I heard good things, and
I'm not saying the kid never works.
Surprised.
I'm not saying the kid never works. But you saw hard work, you saw extra work. Well, what'd you see? What'd you see?
Well, empirical evidence, extra, like everybody else walks off the field, there he is working.
Yeah.
There he is working with the QB coaches.
I found it.
Which now is a different staff, but you get what I'm pointing out here.
I'm not saying the kid never works. That's not what I'm saying.
Because that's what it sounds like to the zealots.
I've had enough. Well, you can't pay attention to them. I just don't pay attention to them. When enough people tell you he's not working hard enough to try and be the starting quarterback in the NFL.
Is it that he doesn't know how to work?
I don't know.
Because you can work as hard as you want, but if you don't know how to work, we're just going to spin in circles.
I don't know. I can't answer
That's in
that.
any walk of life. That's not just being a quarterback. That's in
you
any
see what
walk
I'm
of life.
saying, though? Like, there's a difference between taking a few extra reps after practice and having it consume your life to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I know that.
So
I can't prove. I'm not with him all the time.
So you're telling me you've seen the extra work. Okay. I'm not saying the kid never works. I'm not saying that. Enough people have said he doesn't work hard enough that I don't ignore that. That's all.
216-474-0092. Do you think we're doomed with him?
I don't think he's the long-term answer. No, I don't think he's the long-term answer. Depends on your definition of doom.
Well, I can't prove that he is.
What's your definition of doom?
Oh, that this is going to end up into another greasy horror show, the way that things turned into a greasy horror show.
I think they're probably taking a quarterback in 27.
We're in a greasy horror show right now.
You've been in a greasy horror show since $230 million.
Well, then, okay, I don't agree with you. But see, that's part of my issue, is that I do think he's in, and I've been trying to tell this for people for the last year, he's in the perfect situation. The people we talk to every day, I'm talking about listeners, I'm talking about fans, 90% don't want to see the guy who's set to be his backup.
Yeah.
90%.
Probably higher than that.
I'm being generous.
And I'm in that 90, by the way.
I'm being generous. I told you, I would much rather have these arguments all day long. I'd rather get red-faced and angry with you than any of the other discussions we had over the 4 years with the other guy. I'd much rather have, to me, arguing about Shedeur is still fun. I think it's frustrating to a lot of fans. I think it's frustrating to the fans that spend a lot of time online because people jump to conclusions that probably aren't true about people who say are critical of Shedeur and his play. But I also believe, and while I am concerned about what you have been told, I'm very concerned about that. I also strongly believe that a team showed how dysfunctional they were by how they did this entire year. The 4-quarterback thing was scary going into it. It was scary to us, and to a point where I said, well, let's be entertained by it if we're not going to go very far on any of this. And it turned up being a complete mess. Four QBs and running 2 fields and signing extra wide receivers where he didn't even throw to them. I know that life isn't fair. I know the NFL isn't fair. I thought you were shooting yourself in the foot before you even got a chance to go out there. Having a guy who doesn't necessarily know, and we've heard the film thing too, about he might not necessarily know how to watch film. That's been brought up several times, right?
Yeah.
You're not doing him any favors when you take him and you got 3 guys ahead that you're watching film with getting ready for a season. To me, you're putting him behind the 8 ball. Then you shouldn't have drafted him.
Well,
then you shouldn't have brought him in. That was my entire issue.
And that's what I wrote after
I understand
the Ravens game. But they had a plan.
But when you do
they blew up their own plan.
Because in that plan, I didn't think that was a good plan because I didn't think that was a realistic plan no matter what. We always get to backups here.
Okay.
You knew damn well we were going to get to him.
But
I think anybody with a head on their shoulders knew we were going to get to him.
I'm going back to the point he made about you shouldn't have drafted him. You had two veteran quarterbacks, and you had a guy in Dillon who frankly, Dillon wasn't even supposed to play. He was a project that they were going
Speaking about guys they shouldn't have drafted.
To develop. I'm not disagreeing with that. You shouldn't spend a top 100 pick on the guy. But the thought process behind it was, we're going to take this quarterback and we're going to develop him, because the Browns have never developed a quarterback.
No.
And then we can have nobody ever looked at Dillon as the franchise answer. He was always supposed to be a backup quarterback that you could have on the roster at a cheap salary for the next 4 years, whatever it is, whatever, put a number on it. And then the quarterback was going to come later. And then they blew up their own plan when they took Shador, and then that's when all hell broke loose after that.
It concerns me greatly for a multitude of reasons I just told you, and a multitude of reasons I'm going to tell you here in a second. 216-474-0092. We got people in. I'll get to you guys. We got Mary Kay coming up at 8:22, and you love Joel Bitonio. We all love Joel Bitonio. I think you're going to have to remember that, because I think you're going to get mighty annoyed by him coming up. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima is out. Jason Lloyd is in on the Fan. Extend Tech.
TrueCar.com.
There's a crash on 480 west of Transportation Boulevard. Traffic's light 90 east from 611 to East 185th. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
Spring training is underway. Get the biggest news from Florida and Arizona here. Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
(216-474-0092). Are they hot, Adam? Social media reactions are brought to you by
Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Are they mad at Jason?
Well, it depends your sourcing, but yes.
My wife.
And generally, all the sources.
My wife was listening.
Yeah,
She was driving my son to school. Oh yeah, she said, "Welcome to my world, everyone. All the things you so innocently say."
Me?
No, me.
Oh, you. Okay,
me.
good.
The things that I say that I'm just like, because you said off the air a minute ago, you said you just have a terrible bedside manner.
You have a horrible bedside manner. You are the worst.
She would probably agree with you. But why do I need a bedside manner? Like, I told this to Tyvis a couple months ago. It is not my job to hold your hand and sweep the hair from your eyes and tell you what you want to hear.
No,
that is not my job.
I don't tell them what they want to hear.
I'm not saying,
but I do wipe the tears from their eyes and hold their hands.
There are plenty of people in this town who will do that. If that's what you're looking for, go find them.
I'm sitting right next to you.
So, well, yeah, but I don't want to be mean like you. But yeah,
that's what I point out.
You'll tell people what they want to hear.
But when you do that,
that's not my job.
I tell you what, though, when you do that, you're upset about the whole thing about, well, they're saying I'm saying it just for clicks. And I know you're not saying it just for clicks. There's nothing to click on. I know you're not saying it to be relevant, all that stuff. I know you very well. I know that there's people who want to disagree with me on that statement, and I'm going to get to them. But the difference is that because I don't like getting yelled at, I don't want to rage bait anybody. I want to give I have strong opinions on things, and I want to give them, but I'm not trying to set out to make anybody's day worse. But when you do that, you end up being accused of things like, oh, you're just a Shedeur fanboy, you're the cult leader, you're Charles Manson, because I prefer to call it a family. And I'm like, well, no, guys, I just don't want to go any further into this hole. And I had an epiphany during last season when things were going really, really bad. Why am I trying to dig out of this hole that I didn't create? I didn't want this quarterback situation. I didn't want to have 4 QBs. I didn't want to have a quote-unquote red shirt year for the most popular quarterback coming out in the draft. I didn't want to do any of that, and I damn sure didn't want to take the guy that they're paying to not play. I didn't want to have him, so why am I trying to pull the nose up on that thing when I don't have to? So let me try to find a way forward instead of a way out. And that makes me being accused of wanting to tank. I don't want to tank. I want to keep my head low because I don't think that any one of these guys that are available are going to take this team and, boom, put them at 11-6 and put them in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is it's going to take multiple years to dig out of the Deshaun thing.
Exactly.
And I've said that, and people get mad. And I can't help that. And I also think there's a difference in, like, the people who just showed up with Shedeur. Like, I get why they hate me. I get it. I mean, whatever. But
why do they hate you?
Because they're not really football fans. They're Shedeur fans. So those people, I get why they would not take kind to what I'm saying. I think the people who have been here, the people who have been Cleveland sports fans for the last 15, 20 years, who have followed what I've done, I think they look at this very, very differently than the people who just showed up. Jason,
I have combed through the filth and the vile on YouTube to find a question or a comment, right? Shambi says, Jason is biased because he's never criticized Dylan Gabriel as much and as blatant as he does with Shedeur. What is your answer?
I have said multiple times Dylan Gabriel is not the answer for this football team. Multiple times I've said Dylan Gabriel is not the bar against which we are measuring NFL quarterbacks or Browns quarterbacks. So that's just blatantly false.
I like that question because can I answer it on my end, even though he's talking about you? We get accused of why don't you? It's happened less and less now because when the front office isn't even talking about him in press conferences, you kind of know where the score is. But it was, why aren't you guys talking about Dylan Gabriel? Because I got really nothing good to say, and I don't think that there's going to be any sort of a future.
He got put into a terrible position. Terrible spot.
I think
people think Shedeur got put in a bad spot. Dylan got put in a worse spot.
First off, he was overdrafted.
I think we were all going, well, that's not it.
Yeah, he was overdrafted. He played too early. Name the reasons for it. He needs a clean break.
Yes, he does.
I thought Shedeur was at least worthy of having a conversation about. Dylan, I did not think, because of all the things I've said in the past. And that's not trying to be mean. That's just being honest, as honest as I possibly can. I'd rather have the conversations about Shedeur than just about any of the other quarterbacks that have been out there. I have fun talking about him. That being put out there, no, as of right now, I don't think he's going to be the franchise quarterback long-term for this football team. I think that he will probably be a guy that's a developmental guy.
Which is what he was always supposed to be.
I don't think that we have what it takes to develop him. I beg your pardon. We are switching out this offensive line. I disagreed with Mary Kay last year. I'm not going to bring it up again, but I'm telling you, you don't see teams rotate guys without injury. Wyatt got hurt at the end of that game. We're rotating guys on the offensive line without injury. What are we trying to do here? You don't do that in front of quarterbacks that you think are going to give you a long-term answer for that position. You're not going to do that. They didn't do that with Patrick Mahomes his second year in the NFL. They didn't do that with Josh Allen his rookie year in the NFL. If there's injuries, if there's guys that are trying to play through injuries like a Landon Dickerson situation, they might do that. In Philadelphia, they've had to do that. They're not going to do that willy-nilly like that. And I disagreed with that then, and I'll always disagree with it now because it's not a serious enterprise. When you have to switch up nearly all 5 offensive linemen through free agency because you couldn't plan ahead before, so you have to make good with it. Yeah. That's not going to be good for your second-year quarterback who was a 5th-round pick, who had trouble watching film, as you say, who has the things that you accuse him of, that puts him even further, or the sources that accuse him of, I should say, that puts him even further behind the 8 ball. And then my best wide receiver is what? Moody, Jerry Jeudy, and Isaiah Bond, who knows how to run about 1 route. And a jet sweep, so he can technically do kind of 2, sort of, in a way. And I got Harold Fannin Jr. I can't throw to him on every down now, can I? I do think because of circumstance, he's going to be left in the dust.
Dylan, you're talking about
Shedeur.
Oh, yeah.
Shedeur.
Yeah.
If he was drafted, I hate to say, I can't use the Ravens as an example because I think they're kind of messy right now. I thought they were messy even last year. I mean, all this, and we're going to go through the Lamar extension stuff. They were even asking DeCosta about them. I think they're messy. Had he been taken by a quality organization, a organization that has their ducks in a row.
They should have gone to Baltimore. It's where
I don't even. But I can't even make the argument for Baltimore anymore. I think if he were taken by, I hate to say it, if he were taken by New England, if he were taken by Seattle, if he were taken by Green Bay, if he were taken by anything that is more stable than this, I think he'd have a better chance because they're further along. At least with the talent that you have around you, you're further along. Because I know that he's able to take advantage of guys that he has around him, and I know that he's able to even elevate some of the play from college. But I don't think it's going to be enough time, and I think that by next offseason, next March, we're going to have these big conversations about all the usual suspects, Dante Moore and Arch Manning and Julian Sayin and Lenoris Sellers, et cetera, going into next year.
Yeah, and part of this also, you kind of alluded to it, Browns haven't developed a quarterback in 30 years. You think they're going to get this one right? With all of the outside noise and everything else on it, they're going to get this one right? I have a very hard time believing that. And that's not an indictment on Shedeur. That's an indictment on the organization.
How close should I watch CJ Carr, by the way? I know I'm prone to being a Notre Dame fan. Owen, anything there? Okay, I'm just making sure, guys. 216-474-0092. Let me go to... I thought it was Jovan. It's not Jovan, it's Javon. Javon or Jovan?
Jovan. Either way, whichever way you want from now.
Go ahead. Wait, are you on speaker, Jovan? You got to get right up on the mic, Jovan. Come on. Are you there?
See if I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that better?
It's a little bit better. Go right on ahead.
All right. So let me just say this. Mr. Jason Lloyd, can you hear me? You got
He's got you.
I got
we
you.
got you. Go ahead, Javon. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, hurry up. Come on.
All right. So real quick. So the problem for you, Mr. Jason Lloyd, is everything that you're saying, there are all pros and pros that break down film that can refute what you're saying, and we can see it. You kind of acting like the government right now. You know what I'm saying?
What are you watching in film that refutes what I'm saying?
So there are
because I can show you a Deshaun Kaiser highlight reel from his rookie year where you would think he's an all-pro.
Oh,
and that
I'm
was
not
his
talking
1 year
about
as a starter.
Deshaun Kaiser. I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders. There are different people on the internet that break down his film, and Chase Daniel, one of them. You know what I'm saying? He my quarterback from Missouri. He break down film to refute things that you say, and there are other quarterback coaches that break down that refutes what you're saying.
Is Chase Daniel in the Browns locker room?
So I'm getting to that point right there.
You better hurry up.
There are other people online. Whenever they say good things about Shedeur, they bring names. You bring I heard.
Answer the man, Jason.
I mean, I don't know what you want other than my track record of 25 years. Like I don't know what else to say.
I mean, the people who say good things about Shedeur, they name names, and we can see them online.
Because
the mystery people that you talk to, you don't put a name to whoever you talking to.
Okay. All right.
Thoughts?
No.
You're not going to answer the man?
What do you want me to say, Ken?
Jovan, thank you very much for the call.
I showed you the text during the break.
I don't want to see the text.
Did I show you the text during the break?
I'm not answering that question.
Did I show you the text during the break?
I do not recall.
Yes or no?
I do not recall.
Yes or no? Yeah, you saw the text.
Fifth Amendment.
I invoke my right to invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never had to say it, so I don't know how to say it.
Exactly. Like, come on.
Jason, I think
anybody could have sent you that text.
Okay.
I think what you don't want to say, but I'll just say it for you, knowing you, is you're a journalist, right?
Big J.
It's a truth. We give him a lot of crap. He's a guy that's done this for a lot of years. There's a lot of people on the internet right now that are trying to become, make themselves more aware in the space so that people will pay attention to them for their clicks and all of that things. You're not interested in the clicks, maybe?
I'm not at all interested in the clicks.
So as a journalist, should you be giving up your sources? Probably not. That's probably not the greatest thing to do.
Probably not.
But I think you hit a very valid point there.
I think with Jovan specifically, you're talking to a guy, Jason, who has been a Cleveland Sports Talk listener for 10 months now?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
more than likely.
It coincides with last year's draft.
Well, that's why I said I get why the Shedeur.
That's a lot of people.
Well, Jovan's called in before, but not before Shedeur is taken.
Consistently for 10 months.
Exactly. You're correct about that. And I do think that I know you very well, and I could vouch for your character. I disagree with you about a lot of stuff. Like when you were saying when you and I got into a knockdown drag out over the phone about cutting him, I went crazy.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I never said cut him. I said he should not be here. You trade him. He's great, right? He's got all this trade value. Trade him.
Okay. If you're gonna mince words here, then I ain't gonna defend your character.
I never said cut him. You said that. I never said that.
You said he shouldn't be here.
That is exactly what I said.
And I said, who are you going to replace him with? And you said, what, anybody? I said, that's ridiculous.
But why? Why is it ridiculous?
Because nobody else is going to make the situation that much better. Who's realistic? Nobody else is going to make the situation that much better. So who else are you going to go to? Deshaun? Well, get ready for those conversations.
You said that I got up all in my feelings because of the unhinged fringe, and that's ridiculous. And you know me better than that. You know me better than that.
That's fair. But you have responded to them.
When?
You have talked about it before.
When?
On the phone yesterday.
Go find my Twitter account and see where I've ever responded to anybody.
You're not on Twitter. I'm not saying that you're responding on Twitter, but you're responding through it for me.
When I'm sitting there at the end of the show and they're talking to me directly, I have to respond to them at that point. I'm not going to get in a Twitter fight with...
I know that. I never accused you of doing that.
I love farting 6969. Like, come on.
Is that a new name? Because it's usually been Dennis 6969. Now Dennis has burners. I love farting 6969 is a hell of a name.
Don't we all?
216-474-0092. All right. We got to get this about last night in because it's big, okay? Eric DaCosta has buyer's remorse, but Kobe Altman better not. Ken Carman, Jason in for Tone. We'll get back to this later on. We got Mary Kay at 8:20 on the Fan.
happen around the globe that we never hear of.
Embarrassing. We got to be better on defense.
It won't matter till April. I think we know that. Y'all gonna write us off. We could go 82-0, no one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him, how he couldn't please his wife, and so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
It's Smokey and the Bandit time. A long way to go, but a short time to get there, Ken.
Okay, you're doing that just to get on my good side. You're already on my good side, John. You've never seen Smokey and the Bandit.
How you gonna tell me?
Who played Smokey?
I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
What did you look up to go, I'm going to get Ken with this?
My boss in broadcasting this past summer, he said it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, we do have a long way to go.
How'd you know that was one of my favorite movies?
I didn't. I just was going to use it for this. Can we get to the about last night now?
About time somebody around here pushed back against you.
Oh, yeah, like you didn't admonish me 20 minutes ago. I have such a great history in journalism.
I'll tear you apart anytime I want.
I'll talk down to you. Yeah, I'll let guys like Joe Von call and tear you down for the rest of the morning. And play games with me, buddy boy.
Yeah, that guy.
I agree with Joe Von in San Antonio.
That guy was real scary.
I agree with everybody on our YouTube live chat. Go ahead, John. I agree with you all.
Eric DeCosta, GM of the Ravens, buyer's remorse. He has got
me
that.
A river.
He's got that since the Max Crosby trade was voided, signing Trey Hendrickson. But you hope Kobe Altman doesn't have the same thing after last night's loss to the Magic. James Harden played well, but are you worried about the Magic in the playoffs?
I think that Jason is a little bit. They are a tough physical team. They do have playoff experience now. Banchero has played lights out here over the last month. I mean, he's been fantastic since the return.
He's a dude.
He is. He's very, very good. I mean, you go back. It feels like a completely different team. And they were talking about trading people, firing people when they beat them. Was it a back-to-back? We beat them. We just beat them twice in the same week.
I don't know.
Earlier this year, and they weren't even really close games. It felt like there are a lot of people down in Orlando who are upset with the Magic. This is a formidable opponent. This is a worthy bleeping adversary. If I can mention one of my other favorite movies that have ever been made, they are going to be a tough team. I think they'd be a tough out. I happen to agree with Jason. I think you should beat them. There's another little subset here that I'm picking up. There seems to be a faction of fans that, if the Cavs aren't going to make the NBA Finals, they'd rather just kept Darius Garland. I think that this was a move for the better for the Cleveland Cavaliers, obviously. I think it might be a little bit premature to have a big-time conversation about this, Jason. Maybe you feel differently about it. But I think that, if anything, James Harden is I don't wish Darius Garland ill will, but James Harden has proven why he's head and shoulders the better basketball player since he's got here.
You make the trade 10 times out of 10.
Yes, you do.
And I mean, Rich, I don't want to go too far back in history, but Rich told on the podcast, he told Darius matter-of-factly, this will be your last year in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of reasons, we won't have to get into that. And that's exactly how it turned out. So, yeah, that trade, I don't like, we talked about the show open, you can have this long window of contention, but the league has now cut that down on teams drastically. So you got to push the button and go for it. And that's what the Cavs did with that trade.
Kyler Murray, he's probably going to go to the Vikings. Ken, you told me to convince you why the Browns should go after him. It's the same reason why the Browns should be going after him right now. It's the same reason for next year. The quarterback class in the upcoming draft, which the Browns are projected to have a high pick in, you have no idea if that's going to be good. They look better.
Is Kyler Murray going to get us to the playoffs?
I think so. I think Kyler Murray could get, if the Browns draft Carnell Tate, Kyler Murray gets the Browns to the playoffs.
Does anybody else in the room agree?
No, I think it would take Josh Allen to get this team to the playoffs. Josh
They're
Allen's
not that
a quarterback.
far away.
If Josh Allen's a quarterback, Browns could probably make the playoffs. But
Owen, do you agree?
That's the bar.
Well, I don't want to be. I don't want to be.
I agree with.
I don't just want to disregard what he's saying. I know he's from a different city and he's a young kid and all that other stuff. I'm not. I don't want to be nasty. I want to give him football reasons. Like John, they had to change their entire offensive line. All right, now it might do okay. I hope it does well, but I think that's a major concern. Even if they have Carnell Tate, I still think you could put a circle around Carnell Tate and a circle around Harold Fannin Jr. And you might be able to run the ball a little bit better, but I still don't think it's going to get you to where you need to go. I like where your head's at, but I don't think that Kyler Murray can get them to where they need to go. They need so much on offense. And I think that, you know what? If this were 2027 and Kyler Murray was a free agent, I would maybe consider this. I would. I think that they can't help but be further along.
You just got done saying you don't like him. You've never liked him, and he's not a good quarterback.
He's the highest upside of any guys out there.
Hold on. I can tell the truth for a second here. For the love of God.
Only for a second?
Relax. I don't think he's good enough to elevate this squad to the playoffs. This team cannot help but be better offensively than where they are now. So depending on how much better they are offensively going into 2027, if it were Kyler Murray of the same standing going to be a free agent, maybe I could make that argument. Maybe I'd be a little bit more open-minded. Good God, jump down my throat. Why don't you?
You just got done crapping all over the guy.
I didn't crap all over
3 hours.
him.
Now you're saying, well,
next
year I would take him.
Next year I would consider him. Consider. Holy
How many sides are on your mouth?
Oh, come on. That's beyond the pale. Cheap. All right, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for About Last Night. Well, gosh, what's your problem?
What?
What's your problem?
What? You don't think it's a little silly to just crap all over Kyler Murray for 3 hours and then say, well, next year, I'd consider him next year?
We talked about Kyler Murray for like 2 minutes.
There's no difference between Kyler Murray this year.
Talked about Kyler Murray for like 2 minutes.
It's just odd to say, I don't want, if he wants to go be a backup, I don't want Kyler Murray here. Well, next year, I would consider taking Kyler Murray.
Next year, I would consider Kyler Murray. That's a good impression.
That's insane.
If we didn't have a quarterback all lined up in the draft, I would consider Kyler Murray with a better offensive staff around him. How's that? Is that crazy talk?
Yes.
I'm not a Kyler
He's available now. Not next year. He's available now.
He ain't going to help us this year. And all right, can I restate this opinion when we come back?
We'll see.
All right, I love Joel Bitonio. You love Joel Bitonio. We all love Joel Bitonio. You better remember that, because just because you love him don't mean you're not going to be frustrated with him here in about a month. Ken Carman, Jason in for Tone with Mary Kay at 8:20 on The Fan.
gives the United States a spot in the quarterfinals. Team USA will take on Canada tomorrow night in Houston. Listen to The Fan Rewind weeknights 11 to midnight. All the best segments from all our shows can always listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
So apparently I'm being called out about Kyler Murray with you guys.
Well, what you said was absurd.
What I said was not absurd. I don't understand why it was absurd. Do you feel it was absurd?
This franchise.
I think it's a little absurd to say I don't want him now, but maybe next year.
That's absurd.
I would consider him.
I don't want him now. I don't want him next year. I don't want him never. That's my personal.
Well, that's great for you. I'm glad. I mean,
I think it's absurd to be closed door on somebody now and then go, we have no new information on him. I might want him next.
They've been searching for a quarterback for 30 years. I don't want this guy now, and he's available, but I might consider him next year.
Well, no,
that makes no sense.
People do that all the time.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
If there's a quarterback you would consider next year, you consider it now. It's the most important position.
Would you consider?
Yeah.
Technically, I'll consider every single quarterback next year.
There's plenty of well, wait a minute. There's plenty of quarterbacks that you don't consider now that you would consider with a little bit of extra seasoning.
He's 28 years old. He's been in the league for however many years.
There's plenty of quarterbacks that you might not consider now that you would consider later on.
So a year of seasoning is what Kyler Murray needs. He needs a year of seasoning.
Hold on, it's not even that. It's that I don't think.
Just said.
Listen, I just think you're throwing away a lot of asset, or you're throwing away money, you're throwing away whatever.
You're throwing away a league minimum contract.
I think you're throwing away an opportunity to be better if you have this guy this year. I don't think he's going to make a damn bit of difference for you. No. If we were talking about him next year, if you had more weapons around him, if you had a better offense around him, maybe I'd kick the tires on him. Maybe I'd be willing to have the conversation. I'm not willing to have a conversation. I don't understand the problem with that. Guys, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to put on a radio show. I really don't understand the problem. I don't understand the issue with that. There's certain situations that benefit everybody, and I don't understand your explanation. I think your explanation is silly.
So if they go,
I think your explanation and the text from our boss Keith are both dumb.
If they go 4-13 or 5-12 next year, whatever it is, 6-11, all right, now I'll consider Kyler Murray.
Well, I got to see how they look. What?
It's just insane. I don't want him now, but maybe next year.
Wait a damn minute. We don't make arguments all the time based on how teams look in games when we really dig and test. Part of the reason I was so damn down on the Browns is not just because you were 5-12. It's because you lost you lost 2 games to the freaking Jets and the Titans based on special teams. That's how bad you were.
So if next year this quarterback class is as good as everyone says it is, and you're in position to take one, that's when you would consider Kyler Murray, 29-year-old Kyler Murray.
I'm saying if we weren't in that spot, I didn't say I'd consider him over a quarterback. I didn't say that at all. I said if you guys want to have that conversation next year, if he were available next year, I'd be more willing to have the conversation next year.
Even though he's available now.
I guess, because I'm not willing to have the conversation now.
All right. Well, he's not coming here anyway. It's a waste of time talking about.
Oh, please. You know how many guys that we've wasted our time? Well, hold on. You can't say we're not
wasted 25 years.
I'm sorry. I actually disagree with you because there was when we talked about Odell Beckham Jr. coming here, everybody and their brother was sending us the nastiest emails ever. You are a waste of our time. You're doing nothing but, and then we talked it into existence. Ever since that was talked into existence by this station, basically, then I don't want to hear anything else. They all are worthy to being talked about. Thank you. Champions pose. Boom. Roasted. What?
I've just heard enough. I'm good. Okay.
What did I say? What are you nodding your head for?
I like the I'm good defense.
I'm just done. Is
that what you said in the McCarthy hearings? I'm good, thanks. No, that's not how this goes.
I mean, I don't know why we're still talking about Kyler Murray.
You brought him up.
You brought him up.
No, I did.
I said I don't think he's coming here.
I don't think he is either. You guys brought him up at about last night. I didn't bring up Kyler Murray.
I didn't do about last night. I didn't set that up.
Then you roasted me for saying you made me have to explain myself.
It's absurd to say I don't want him now.
I don't understand.
But I would consider him next year. When there's 5 quarterbacks coming out, they're going to be first-round picks.
Certain pretenses.
Potentially.
If the Browns' offense proved that they were better, if they were in better, if it were so obvious, If it were so terribly obvious that we were winning in spite of our quarterback through an entire season, which I don't know if you can, but if it were so terribly obvious, then yeah, fine. Let's have the conversation. I'm not having the conversation this year. 1, and I really don't think he's that great. 2, because I really don't think he's coming here. If you're kicking around being a backup in better situations and you don't want to come here and you'd be the day one starter, is that not a given?
I mean, the Browns.
Okay.
The Browns.
Well, we know what you feel about the current quarterbacks that they have, especially Shedeur. So I mean, we don't need to.
The Browns have such a track record of success at the quarterback position. I can see why free agents would be eager to come running here to rejuvenate their career.
So then, why are you giving me hell?
Because I don't think he's coming here. But what you said doesn't make sense. That's all.
I thought it made perfect sense, and I'm getting texts that confirm that.
Really? Oh. Name your sources, Ken.
I didn't ask you to name your sources. I'm not asking you to name your sources. In
Ken,
fact, I was very
show him
careful.
all the text message threads.
In fact, I was very, very careful to not name names of who I thought your sources were, because I thought I might be walking into a trap that I'd have to pay dearly for later on in life. Mary Kay at 822. So this Joel Bitonio business, I saw from Daniel Yafusi, who is a friend of the station. He's come on our show a couple of times. He really comes on Afternoon Drive a lot, though, if he's going to go on anywhere. And I'd love to have Daniel on, by the way. So I put the bat signal out to him. He's a wonderful
He's
young
really
man.
good. He's really good.
But he had a clarification about Joel Bitonio's contract, where he had written that we are going to basically carry now because the contract, he had a chance to avoid the contract, had a chance to retire. He didn't retire, and it leaves $23.5 million in dead cap for the Browns in 2026. Bitonio has been mulling retirement. Cleveland pushed the void date back to give him more time. Browns have been active in adding offensive linemen in free agency. Zion Johnson, Elton Jenkins, General Manager Andrew Berry said he would welcome Bitonio back if he wanted to return for a 13th season. Well, it kind of feels like there's always room for a borderline Hall of Famer. I understand that, but it's almost like they're working as if there's not much room left at the end. And for Joel, if what Jeff is saying this morning in the 2020s is correct, we're going to wait until next month possibly. I love Joel. Make whatever decision you want to make, because I don't know if we're going anywhere. But I don't want to draw unfair conclusions. It leads me to believe that he might be thinking about kicking the tires with another team. And if you're costing $23.5 million in dead cap, I think it's a little annoying thing for some fans. That might not make any sense to you. Can I explain it to you again?
Please.
That I do think that there will be some fans, and I'm seeing it right now, like, why would we leave? We're wasting money, dead cap money that we could use to players, we could use to another wide receiver. You know, I know that John's hot over Juwan Jennings and a couple other guys. We could be using that money in better spots instead of just letting it die because we wanted to do a solid by Joel, and Joel didn't want to necessarily retire. If Joel ends up with a contender, personally, I'm not going to be bothered by it, but I think we might get a call or two based on Joel. If he ends up with a contender, if he ends up waiting around until next month to make his decision, then doesn't pick us, and then there's dead cap space there, it's like, well, we could have been better. We could have added to this football team, and we weren't able to do it.
You think for all the crap he's swallowed over the last 12 years, you can give him a month? Is that a fair?
I don't think fans care about that.
I'm sure they don't.
I don't think a lot of fans care about that. You gave him a month. He said you had from January to March.
But that's the human side of it.
I understand that.
So I think he's more than earned extra time if that's what he wants.
Can I play devil's advocate? In a perfect world, you're correct. I mean, the league has shown they like to do nice things for people if they can who've given a long time of service, but the league does march on. And so I do think a fan would go, hey, we kind of need an answer here. I needed either an anchor on my offensive line or I need to go find a guy. I need to get my decision made. And if you're costing $23.5 million in cap space, where we could use that towards a wide receiver, we could use that towards somebody that can be a weapon. I can see a fan being a little bit frustrated going, hey, make a decision. If you want to go somewhere else, that's fine, but you should have made a decision beforehand.
Well, I think, first of all, I'd be surprised if this dragged out a month. I'd be surprised.
I'm not trying to put the mouth on Joel. I love Joel. But
secondly, I do think, like, if I had to rank it right now, like, what's he going to do? I still think retirement would be number one. I think shopping around would probably be number 2, and I think coming back here would be number 3.
Because he's waited a month, I think shopping around is going higher and higher. Because if you're thinking about it like him, what Jason Peters, he played till he was 40. Now, Joel's not going to play till he's 40, obviously. But if a team that's a contender makes a call, you're still in good shape.
Yeah.
People still respect you around the league. You're not. It's not like you're going to be playing for free, for crying out loud. Maybe you can ring chase. People here still love him. Of all the gripes that could happen in 2026, without a doubt, it's on the very, 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 very low end of all the gripes. Okay, that's true. But if you're Joel, maybe you do kick around going and ring chasing for somebody else. Maybe you do go somewhere.
If he feels good enough to play, I think he should. And the Browns are certainly operating as if he's not coming back. They're not holding a spot for him.
With offensive line, see, that's where I think a lot of this goes. And so I think some people are wondering, even on the other side, like looking at Andrew Berry, why did you operate this way if you're operating as if he's not coming back? Why didn't you leave that date up? Could they have left that date up and then spread that out over 2 years instead of just one with the dummy years, kicking the money down the road anyway? Could they have done that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's either going to be a criticism of Joel, which is going to be very hard to do because Joel's a sterling player, sterling person, and while Andrew Berry's a nice guy, not necessarily good at his job for a lot of people out there, I think they're going to be very critical of Andrew for that matter.
I think
because you play nice with certain guys, but you ain't playing nice with a lot of guys.
I mean, Joel's given you his entire body for 12 years. I don't see an issue.
He's also been paid well.
Of course he has.
Okay.
But I don't see an issue in letting him take his time on this. I don't think that's – I think the Browns are doing right by him. I think that's the way they should do it.
They are.
And
they are. But there's people there's 20-year-olds who listen to this. They don't care about how you and I feel towards Joel.
Well, so what? Who cares what they think?
Well, so what? No, there's a conversation.
If you're the Browns, why would you care about that?
Why did they sign Myles Garrett? They care about their fans. Why did
they sign Myles Garrett because they're trying to win football games?
They are? Got a funny way of showing it.
Well, okay. So you think the only reason they signed Myles Garrett that extension was to please the fans?
I think it had a lot to do with it.
You don't think it had anything to do with the fact that the general manager who came up with the idea of giving $230 million contract to a quarterback that's been an absolute disaster?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the calculus of signing Myles Garrett to a basically untradeable contract, so they can make sure that fans aren't going to be outside the gates with pitchforks after him, and that fans go to the stadium and watch the football team.
I don't think Andrew Berry's sitting there making his decisions on Joel Bitonio based on if a 20-year-old is going to be upset with them or not over dead cap space.
But when you make a signing of one guy that's an untradeable piece that you really can't move, well, you can in about a year, but that's going to be very hard to do still. You make a signing of one guy that you cannot move, and then you don't with another guy that you could have saved money on. People are going to criticize you for that. Again, it's on the low end of things.
I mean, fine. Let them criticize. There's a lot of things to criticize the Browns over before you get to how they handled Joel Bitonio.
I asked and I got my answer. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us here in 5 minutes. She says Andrew Berry aced the assignment to overhaul this offensive line. Ken Carman, Jason in for Tone on the Fan. K&K Heating and Cooling.
46 yards a kick. World Baseball Classic, Italy beats Mexico 9-1. The win by Italy gets the United States into the quarterfinals. Team USA will take on Canada tomorrow night down in Houston. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
It's Thursday. It's 8:22. It's time for Mary Kay. She's on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. Mary Kay Cabot of the Cleveland Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com. Hello, Mary Kay.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
We're doing wonderful. Jason is in for Anthony today. Jason Lloyd, Layson Joyd, as I want to call him. He eats breakfast sandwiches in a German-made automobile. He's a pig in every sense of the word. However,
you are ridiculous.
Mary Kay, you are wonderful, and we thank you very much for your time. You said Andrew Berry aced the assignment to address this offensive line. Take us through, because that's a strong – acing the assignment is a strong, strong word.
Well, they needed to throw some bodies at this, and they needed to throw some money at it, and he accomplished that. Now, how it all works out in the end and how all of the pieces fit together, we'll see how that goes. But it's not easy to land a starting tackle in the NFL, a veteran tackle. So he did accomplish that with the trade for Titus, and then just all of the other pieces. I mean, he got starters all across the board, and there will be some competition for some spots. But if they had to play a game tomorrow, they could field a pretty decent offensive line.
How has what they've done dictate what they're going to do at 6? Or did they already know, and that is what allowed them to set the course? I don't know if I asked that properly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. And I don't think it really changes the strategy too much. I do think that they will still look very strongly at left tackles or tackles in the draft, and you have to do that. You have to restock those positions. So they don't really necessarily have their starting left tackle of the future just yet, unless DeJuan Jones comes back really healthy and proves that he can be that guy. So I think they will look at, Spencer Fano and Friedling and all the guys that we ended up talking to at the Combine.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. What do all these deals mean maybe for the future of Joel Bitonio in a Browns uniform?
Well, it seems to suggest that Joel might not be coming back, but the book has not been closed yet on that. They're giving him the time that he needs. Maybe he's already decided he's not coming back. That's what it seemed like as they just kept signing one guy after another. But you just never know. When you put a little bit of time and distance between your aches and pains and the end of the season, sometimes you decide that maybe you can coax one more season out of your body. So we'll have to see how it goes. They really could use him for a number of reasons, including trying to be the glue that can hold together a completely new offensive line and serving almost as a coach in the meeting rooms and on the field. But it does seem like there are a lot of indications that he might be gone.
Do you think he retires, or do you think he's elsewhere?
I would think that he would retire. I think if he's going to play more football, that it would be here. He's sort of like Joe, I think, in that regard. That if he's going to play, he's going to come back to the team that really wants him to be here and appreciates him and the community that he's very established in.
How close were the Browns paying attention to the whole Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson thing, just how to do business, how not to do business? Is it at all true that the Browns maybe are one of the teams that wouldn't do business with the Ravens in the future because of this? Or is it just like, hey, well, they probably wouldn't do a lot of business because they're division rivals?
Well, I'll tell you what. The Cleveland Browns not too long ago were a team that rankled all of the NFL owners, or most of the NFL owners, by doing the first and only fully guaranteed contract in the NFL for Deshaun Watson. So the Browns know something about being a team that teams don't want to do business with, or might, look side-eyed at them because of something that they did. So I don't think that other teams should be as judgmental about this whole situation as it seems like some of them are being, or what we're hearing coming out from other GMs and whatnot. This is a business. You have to do what you have to do for the best of your club. And if they thought that they didn't feel comfortable with the medicals, then they're not going to give up 2 first-round picks for him. That's a mighty steep price to give up for someone if you're just not comfortable.
Yeah, they'll get over it. There's only 32 of these. You have a limited number of trade partners, and if there's somebody on that team that you want, you have no choice but to work with them. So, I agree with that. I think that there's a stain on them maybe a little bit now, but I don't think it'll last.
No, I don't think so either. And the Ravens have always been viewed as, just a very professional organization, and they do things the right way, and people respect them around the league. So, yeah, I don't think so. But I do think that it might remind other owners and other teams and other GMs to, just be a little leery of bashing another team for how they're doing their business.
When do you think the Browns will start to finalize their draft board, and what do you think the odds are that they would trade down again from 6?
Well, I think the odds are pretty good if they can find a trade partner. I think Andrew would love to trade down from number 6, and he's basically said that he's open to doing that. I think they're more than open to doing that because they need, once again, to be poised to take a quarterback in 2027 if the occasion arises. And right now it seems like they are marching forward with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, and they're going to let those guys compete for the starting job. That's what it seems to be for now. Now, that can always change because in the NFL, we know you have to be ready to pivot depending on what becomes available. But as of right now, it seems like they're going forward with those 2 guys competing for the starting job, and then see how that goes this year, and then revisit the quarterback thing next year. So therefore, you want to have, if you can get it, another first-round pick for next year.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is it feels like the 27 draft first-round picks are a lot harder to come by. I know the Ravens just almost traded one, but for the most part, do you get the sense it's going to be harder for a team like the Browns to acquire a first-round pick next year in a draft that could have, 4 or 5 quarterbacks go in the first round?
Yes, it could definitely be harder. It's probably not going to be, as easy to get the kind of haul that Andrew Berry got out of the Jaguars last year. And when you look at that trade, I mean, that is
he knocked it out of the park. Yeah.
Right? I mean, that trade was incredible. So he would have to work really hard to try to find something like that again. But if you can get a first-round pick, and again, it will not be easy, but if you can get one, you want to try to do that. And short of that, you want to try to at least get maybe a high second or something like that. So, yeah, I think that he will definitely try, especially after what he was able to get out of the Jaguars last year.
How serious are we about Ty Simpson?
Oh, I think Ty Simpson is one of those players where you do your diligence, and depending on where his market goes, you're just going to keep an eye on that. And you never know with a player like that that's only started 15 games in college. You don't know what the market is going to be, how he's going to fall down that board or not fall down that board. So you have to be ready to go. I mean, they like him. They have their eye on him. I don't see them taking him at number 6, or even if they traded back some. I'm not viewing him necessarily as someone that they're going to bring in here to be their quarterback of the future. But you have to be ready to pull the trigger on a guy like that if he starts to tumble, in the same way that they did with Shedeur last year.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the Make It Right, Kyle Wright hotline. So not any, we always say open competition. No competition is really open. How badly does the Browns want Shedeur to take the reins of the offense this year at least?
Well, he's got the chance. He's got the opportunity, and I think the Browns believe that Todd Monken and his offense and his coaching and his scheme and play calling will be really good for Shedeur. They think that, about Deshaun as well. But I think they're very, very eager to see what Todd Monken can pull out of Shedeur Sanders. So this is his opportunity. This is his moment to step up and really prove to everyone in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns, fans, his critics, that he is as legendary as he believes that he is. And it's all up to him now. He's got to do what it takes to go out there and prove it to him and prove it to them. And if he can do that, then he will be the starter on opening day.
Who gets to make the call on who the starting quarterback is? Is it solely Todd's decision, or will he have influence from above?
Ooh.
Well, it will be. Todd will have the final say on that because obviously once you get to that point, it is the coach who gets to determine who is actually playing and starting. But there will be collaboration on that because there always is in this organization. He, of course, will put his head together with Andrew Berry and others in the organization, and I'm sure that they will, decide together for the most part. But it will be Todd's final say on who is going to play on opening day.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the show. Wide receivers, who are we in the market for? Are we still in the market for them, free agent-wise?
I don't know about free agent-wise. Those are starting to dwindle. I think at this point now you might be looking at a trade sometime between now and the beginning of the season. And what you need to find is sort of a disgruntled receiver. Sometimes you find your best guys like that, and Andrew has. He has found receivers that need a change of scenery. So they are at that point now where you would have to find someone who is looking for a new opportunity and a new contract and all those kinds of things. Now, they might skip all of that and just go straight to the draft and decide that maybe another premier receiver is going to come in the first round or the second round or whatever, because they are, running low on options amongst the veterans right now.
Mary Kay, if you heard the rustling going around, I am very sorry about that.
She didn't hear anything. Ken's
He's a
yelling at me.
writer. He is not a broadcaster. Turn your mic off and stop sucking on hard candy while talking to the guests.
I took it out.
He's got his feet kicked up and everything over here. God.
I'm very comfortable.
He's so lazy.
I was up very early today.
Oh, my gosh.
I want to go back to the offensive line for a second. How close do you think they came on Tyler Linderbaum, and did the price just get too high for where they were with the cap, or why? Were they interested, not interested, but not at that price?
I'm guessing that they were not interested at that price. I'm sure that they kicked the tires. I'm sure that they inquired. I'm sure they looked into it. But I think early on they recognized that he was going to hit the jackpot and that they probably were not going to be able to land him. That was my sense on it. That was always how it seemed like it was going to be, even heading into it. So I'm sure they, made that phone call even as the negotiating window opened, but I think they knew that he wasn't coming here.
What? Your turn.
Well, I'm sorry. I just needed to make sure everything was okay over there. I don't know when you're picking up or when you're not picking up on these things. Mary Kay, so I got to go back to the wide receiver thing. Disgruntled wide receiver. I think you scared the bejesus out of every fan out there when you said looking for a disgruntled wide receiver who might want to change his scenery. Because, we went and got a disgruntled wide receiver who needed to change his scenery, and things were good for a year, and then he became awfully disgruntled again this last year in Jerry Jeudy. What makes us think that it's going to change this year with anybody else?
Well, of course, it doesn't have to be disgruntled, but it can just be a receiver that needs a new opportunity. So it doesn't have to be disgruntled, but
okay.
Sometimes if you're going to land a really good receiver, it's going to have to be somebody at that point that is looking for, once again, more money, new contract, new opportunity, change of scenery.
Any interesting names there? Any names?
I don't see the Brandon Ayuk thing.
I was just going to ask that. That's where I was going.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that one. Not that, but there could be somebody in one of those categories that I mentioned. And sometimes those things happen after the draft. When, if you draft a couple of guys, then you don't have a need for a veteran, or maybe somebody's getting up there in years a little bit or something like that. So I don't think they know exactly who that person is yet. And I don't even know if they will look for a veteran. Maybe they'll go Carnell Tate at number 6. Who knows? But I do think that they need one or two more premier pass catchers on this team.
Mary Kay, do you have anything else, Jason?
Well, how much time you got?
I'll give you one more minute. Go.
Any chance the first player off the board is a defensive player for them, since this is a defensive-heavy draft?
Well, yes, there is a chance. I mean, it's probably...
Oh, wait, Lyman's not here. I'm sorry. It
Whoa.
didn't work. Okay, shut up. You don't got to dump all over it, for crying out loud. Are you even wearing socks? What a hog. Go ahead, Mary Kay. I'm sorry.
Well, they're poised now to do anything that they want to do, and that's how Andrew always likes to head into a draft. So if the highest-rated player at number 6 and they decide to stay there is a defensive player, sure, they would go ahead and do that because, they have more opportunities to restock the offense.
Mary Kay, we thank you now for your time.
Thank you for putting up with his intolerance.
You should see him. I mean, he's totally unprofessional. All right, Mary Kay. Andy, I see how you tied your shoes. All right, Mary Kay, thank you very much for the time. All the best to you and yours, and, of course, we'll talk to you next week.
I might take them off.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Mary Kay Cabot on the Make It Right Call Kyle Wright hotline. Can I tell you my theory about shoes? Did I ever tell you my shoe tie theory?
What?
Oh, why I know you're fat on your shoe tie, the way you tied your shoes.
What are you talking about? They're tied like a normal human ties.
No, they're not. I will explain why. Also, defense at 6, that's a hell of a possibility that Mary Kay just said. What Mary Kay just said, what this week might have changed what they do in April, that's also coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan.
Tired of waking up
got the opportunity, and I think the Browns believe that Todd Monken and his offense and his coaching and his scheme and play calling will be really good for Shedeur. They think that, about Deshaun as well. But I think they're very, very eager to see what Todd Monken can pull out of Shedeur Sanders. So this is his opportunity. This is his moment to step up and really prove to everyone that he is as legendary as he believes that he is.
Yeah, I feel great about both quarterbacks. That's why people are calling me slurs for not wanting Kyler Murray. I'm sorry. I love Mary Kay. I'm not ripping Mary Kay for that. I'm going to get back to that here in just a second. I said to you before the break, you tie your shoes like a fat guy.
I don't tie my shoes.
Well, that's part of the problem. So you're going to love this theory.
Oh, God.
This is quite possibly the silliest, dumbest theory I've ever given. I give this on the air.
You've got a lot dumber things, I'm
sure.
No.
Owen knows this, though. I've shared this with Owen.
I am the dumb.
So for the longest time, I have made shoes I've made sure my shoes were tied right in the middle. Because fat guys, when they tie their shoes, if you're watching on YouTube Live, I will show this off. You cross your legs. And when you cross your legs, you can't reach over your gut, your big fat gut. So when you tie your shoes, they tend to be on the inside because you can't reach over your gut to tie your shoes. And so I thought, but most guys are in a hurry and you get fat, so you get a little lazy. So you tie your shoes on the inside. So when people are walking around, usually it's a fat person who has their shoes tied to the inside. Now, I have made the mistake, though, of thinking that if I had my shoes tied in the middle, people go, oh, he's not fat. His shoes are tied in the middle.
You're insane.
When they saw me.
You're insane. So they're not going to see how big you are. They're going to look at your shoelaces.
No, that was I just told you that was
that's
my miscalculation.
Almost as absurd as I don't want Kyler Murray now, but maybe next year.
You know what? I don't want Kyler Murray anytime. Okay, you want to be that way? Fine. I'm trying to keep an open mind on anything. You guys are sitting there busting my ass over Kyler Murray of all people. I'm not going to sit here and get in fights. I got guys calling me slurs on the internet over Kyler Murray. I'm sorry if you guys are that worked up over Kyler Murray. You guys don't know what the hell you're watching. He's a waste of time. He sucks. I don't want to deal with it. How you like that? We want to do that. We want to get nasty. I'll get nasty. You guys want tough talking Ken? Tough talking Ken is here. You guys really think that Kyler Murray is going to save this sinking ship? Kyler Murray, please.
Ken is so fragile and thin-skinned.
What are you talking about?
You're going to get that worked up over Kyler Murray?
You got me worked up
Step
over
into
Kyler
my
Murray.
world, buddy.
Shut up. Oh, yeah.
Step into my world.
You're such a martyr for truth. Oh, yeah. I don't pay attention to the tweets. And people are going, ask Jason why he's got me blocked then.
Oh,
yeah, okay, tough talking Jay.
That's a lie.
Okay,
that's a lie.
Ass.
That's a lie.
Who's lying here?
I've never blocked anyone, so you are.
According to these guys, they're going to start showing me screenshots that you block people.
Good. Show them. I want them because I've never blocked anyone.
Tough ass talking Jason.
Because I don't even see him half the time. Sometimes
good God, I ask you about Joel Bitonio. I don't care. Why are we even talking about Joel Bitonio?
No,
so I'm going to give you some passion. I'll give you some passion.
You
want me to sit there and just be completely...
Why are we talking about Joel Bitonio? I never said that.
I asked you. Yes, you did.
That's two lies in 30 seconds.
Ask Owen. Yes, you did. I asked you a simple question about Joel Bitonio.
If he wants more time, they owe it to him after 12 years.
Do they really owe anybody if they don't want to owe anybody? There's a lot of guys they owe a lot of time. The stupidity that sweated and worked hard for them.
After the stupidity they've put him through for 12 years, some of the things that have gone on around here.
They owe David Njoku nothing.
David Njoku
gave 9 years of his career. The bulk of the series,
they chose to move on,
him.
And they chose to move on from him.
So what's the damn
difference? They chose to move on from Wyatt. They're not choosing to move on from Joel. Joel might be choosing to move on from them.
They got a funny way of showing it, considering all the offensive linemen they signed this week.
They still have to build a roster. I think they're telling you without telling you what they think this is going with him.
Yeah, so I guess they're moving on from Joel. If we wanted to be nasty about it.
But is it their choice? Is it his choice?
Well, I think it's probably
his choice.
Column A. Oh, wait, it's his choice. Yeah, it would probably be his choice.
Yeah,
but
that's the difference.
They've let the door open, and they've put $23 million in Hawk by leaving the door open. Either way. You guys want damning strong opinion. I'm trying to keep an open mind about all these guys. You guys want me to sit here and fold my arms and be a jerk about it? I'll be a jerk about it. Fine. Kyler Murray sucks. Don't want him. I think he's too small to play the position. I don't think he loves the position. I think he should have played baseball. I don't want him now. I don't want him ever. Here. There we go. Fine. Now I'll cross my arms and sit here like a jerk for the rest of the show.
Terrible bedside manner you have.
I mean, good God. This is guys, stop cussing each other out over any of these quarterbacks. None of them are going to be here for the future. You want the truth? You want the nasty truth?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You guys know it better or as well as I do. This is all set up to not go well this year. Well, you got an offensive line. They don't even know each other probably personally. They're probably going to meet each other in the huddle the first day of OTAs. Yeah, we got some cohesion right here. This is going to work out. We got to trust the guy who's got a new playbook to learn. We got to trust another guy who's basically falling apart like it's a flat Stanley out there. Yeah, this is all going to go really well for all of us involved here. So why are we cussing each other out and sending threats at each other over any of these guys? Forget it. At least Baker was kind of worth something. This is all ridiculous. I still have more fun talking about Shedeur. You want the mean truth? There you go. You get the mean truth, Jason.
Only took 10 years for you to be honest.
I've been honest many times, and I was honest before. I'm honestly trying to keep an open mind. It's goofballs like you that push me to closing it.
Me?
Yes.
What did I do? I said Kyler Murray's not coming here. I can't believe Kyler Murray sent you off on a tangent about the offensive line.
Oh, no, because I'm getting accused of tanking from just about all sides, wanting to tank. I've never wanted to tank. I just know what this season's going to be. Let's keep our heads down. Let's try to make some decent enough moves. Let's not act silly. Let's not act egregiously trying to give away all these types of things to try to pull the nose up on this thing when we all know it ain't going to go that way. I mean, we're talking about disgruntled, no offense to Mary Kay, we're talking about disgruntled wide receivers. Yeah, this is the place where wide receivers get fixed. Yeah, we're the ones that bring them along.
Do you want more?
Could you imagine how hard Kyle Shanahan would laugh if Brandon Ayuk came here? He'd laugh his ass off. I don't know if he'd be able to hold a practice because he'd think about it, start laughing his ass off in the middle of a practice, then in a press conference if asked. Could you imagine them asking Kyle Shanahan, Brandon Ayuk has ended up with the Cleveland Browns. He'd laugh his ass off. It'd be like he's at a George Carlin show. You wanted it, you got it.
I love it.
I'm glad you love it. Do you love it too? Are you happy in there?
Sure.
Is John happy? John, are you happy you got it? Mean Kenny's here now. Fine.
I'm such a bad influence on you.
You are.
This is great.
You're horrific.
This is great.
At least you took your feet off the desk.
I did. Now it's on the leg.
Lazy ass, terrible broadcaster. Let me tell the truth about you.
You're the one that keeps calling me back.
I didn't call up anybody.
Come on.
Oh, you try to do 2 days in a row at Daryl and see how you like it.
Wow, time for a break.
Throw the safety back on that one. We have Daryl on Thursday and Friday next week.
Well, today's Thursday.
I didn't mean that, Daryl.
Whoopsie daisy.
I didn't mean that. Well, we'll see how next week goes. Maybe I'll meet it by next Friday. I don't know. Help me.
Oh, man, that's good stuff.
All right. Feels good to get that off my chest.
About time, see? Isn't the truth set you free?
But yeah, I don't want to be
There's nothing wrong with what you said, by the way. It was all accurate.
No, I don't. Well, I don't hate Kyler Murray that much. I just don't want him.
your little rant here about this season and where it's headed.
But I don't want to be so nasty. I want to try to enjoy the season. I'd like them to surprise me. I love the Browns. I want them to do okay.
Do you want just one more little vial of truth serum?
What? Tell me the truth at 9 o'clock on the Fan. There you go. You tell me the truth when we come back, okay?
All right.
Friends, Ken Carman here for Northeast Factor Direct and NortheastFactorDirect.com.
news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
This is the only place to trust for Cavs talk anytime you want. Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
The truth shall. I've had a lot of coffee. Hold on. Shut up. I got this right.
Glad we waited
I'm a
for that.
professional, damn it. I got awards on the shelf. The truth shall set me free, according to Jason. In 1 minute, but Jason has to read you a contest
You're
here.
making way too big out of what I was going to say. But anyway, 92.3 The Fan, looking for a winner. Enter the code word BRACKET at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. So you got 1 hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the MAC Men's semifinals this Friday, March 13th at 5 p.m. at Rocket Arena. Get your tickets at rocketarena.com. Again, the code word is BRACKET before 10 a.m. at 923thefan.com.
Someone just sent me an AI video of me turning into a tank.
Oh, I want to see that.
I don't want to tank. No one wants to tank. Where did I put that? That was a nice-ass corduroy jacket I had, too. I wonder where that's at. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
One thing I was going to say was I've written this quite a few times already, so it's not breaking news, but like the North Star for this franchise right now is 2029 in the Dome. Like, can we agree on that? Is that...
I don't want to wait that long. I think they got to be better before that
they
so
do
they can
because
get some people to want to go in.
They have to sell tickets well before that. They got to sell PSLs before that. I'm not saying they don't want to be good before 2029. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they want a product on the field that is marketable and that people will pay a lot of money to see by probably 2027, 28. I'm not sure 2026 is real high on their radar. That's what I'm saying.
So wait a minute. You told me that the Browns don't make decisions to keep the fans happy an hour ago. They don't care about keeping the fans happy.
Wait a minute. No.
And then we just talked about selling tickets for 2029.
Was you think that a 20-year-old is going to be mad that they took a bigger dead cap hit this year than they need to for Joel Bitonio, who's been a warrior for them for 12 years, versus...
Awful defensive of Joel Bitonio.
Versus tens of thousands of dollars that people are going to have to shell out. You think people are going to say, I'm not going to buy a PSL because they wasted a dead cap hit on Joel Bitonio 3 years ago? That's a night and day. That is not a fair comparison.
Well, it's not a fair comparison. I don't think it's the end all be all, but I think it's just one little thing. That's what I'm saying. I think it's one little thing that adds up to the other things. In the grand scheme of things, I think you're right. That's I hate to tell you about this. There's maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe Todd Monken's going to do something so incredibly egregious. And I'm sure there's going to be a couple of Mondays where I'm going to blow up and you guys are going to be making fun of me and tough talking Ken's going to show up. I'm sure it's going to happen. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't expect him to be very good. I can't get that hot in the shorts over it. I thought that what's going to happen is going to happen here. What's happening is happening here. And guys, I'm sorry. I want him to win. But I don't think it's necessarily going to happen this year. That's why I want to see what they do in the draft. I want some building blocks of future winning. That's what I want. It's not about tanking. It's about being honest of what my expectations are for this football team. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do.
I'm not pushing back on anything you said.
Then why am I getting my stones busted so bad by everybody on this?
Because people don't want to hear it. But that doesn't make it any less true.
Well, they clearly want to hear it because they're tweeting at me and cussing me out on the things and all the other stuff, so they're hearing it.
Because they've waited 30 years for this team to be competent and put their shoes on the right feet. I don't think it's going to happen yet again this year.
The difference is that I sympathize with that. That's why we talk about the bedside manner. I understand that, but there's nothing out there that's going to save this team from themselves this year.
I totally agree.
The seeds of what this season I think is going to be, which I don't think is going to be 1-16, but it ain't going to be the playoffs, and I don't think it's really still going to approach the playoffs. The seeds were sown 2, 3, 4 years ago.
You can't run from the Deshaun contract. The Deshaun contract is the noose around this franchise.
It's the biggest piece, but it's the first piece, and then there's other things that go with it.
But that contract...
You are right.
That contract, from the beginning to the end, will set this franchise back nearly a decade.
Yes.
And when you think about... And like when you talk in terms of... I'll go back to the Mason Crosby trade. Part of the reason that the Ravens nixed this was the way that a lot of teams, I know the Ravens look at it this way. I think a lot of teams look at it this way. When you're trading a first-round pick, you're trading 4 to 5 years of your future. And when you trade 2 first-round picks, you're trading 8 to 10 years of your future, the length of the rookie contract.
Well, that's a long time. You ain't wrong.
The Browns traded, 12 to 15 years.
I don't like any of this.
The Browns traded 12 to 15 years of their future just on the first-round picks. I'm not even talking about anything else that they – no, 3 first-round picks, 4 years on a rookie contract plus the 5th-year option. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. The Browns traded between 12 and 15 years of their future on that Deshaun trade. That's just the math of it. And that's why the Ravens pulled out of the Crosby deal, because they don't think he's going to be a worthwhile player 3, 4, 5 years from now, let alone 10 years from now.
Oh, no, I heard Eric DeCosta was real eaten up over all this and felt real bad about it.
The Browns traded 12 to 15 years of future contracts on a trade that just erupted on
Now,
them.
wait a minute. Those are concurrent, though. Those aren't success.
It doesn't matter.
Somewhat
3 first-round picks, 4 years per player guaranteed, plus a 5th-year option. So if you hit on those picks, it's 15 years.
Yeah, but I'm just going to assume 2 out of 3 of them are going to end up like Jed Wills, so I don't feel as bad. I got to get to sleep tonight some way, okay?
Jed's back in the league.
Congratulations on all his success.
I maintain he's average. He's an average player. He's average. He was not worth the 10th overall pick. But he's not.
And Tristan Wirfs makes him look worse and worse by the second.
It does. But he's not the worst left tackle. He's not Cam Robinson. He's better than Cam Robinson. I can tell you that.
Well, we set a high bar around here.
I'm just saying. I think he's average.
Zach Jackson.
I think he's average. And the knee is what kept him out last year.
No, I don't think you're wrong. It bothers me to. I will. I do this. I want to be nice. I pussyfoot around it sometimes, a lot. And then you and Keith and Owen and Lima, and eventually John, once he gets his druthers here and knows how to manipulate me, get me into a snit, and then I start yelling. Then I start getting mad, and then the real nasty part of the truth comes out. I don't like doing it. I really like Andrew. I like the guys on the business side. I like these people. I don't like saying that, yeah, they're not going to win a lot of games. I'm sorry. And you're right. And when we get arguments, I go, I can't give any leeway. When we start arguing about Andrew Berry, well, Kenny hasn't had first-round picks in the last 3 years up until this last year. I go, whose fault is that? Yeah. I go, it wasn't like the league just took him away from him.
That's true. And also, up until this last year, they didn't do a great job with the picks that they did have.
No, and I think this has been a great draft. And Keith had sent me a text yesterday afternoon about this. Is where, Kenny, you don't want to go after Kyler Murray and you don't want to do these things, but do you trust Andrew to make the pick next year for the quarterback? I go, no, but I really don't know if the owner will either. So I think that we're probably going to go through something like this at the end of this year.
You might.
Hopefully it's not a complete changeover, but by the end of the year, maybe I'm going to think it needs to be a complete changeover. I mean, very well, Todd Monken's excuse me. I only ran into Todd Monken a couple of times. Seems like a bare bones football guy, common sense guy. I don't know him very well whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I could see this being a Vic Fangio Broncos situation. 60-year-old coordinator gets his first head coaching job. Doesn't go well the first year. We're getting a new quarterback. We're getting a new this, that, and the other, and away we go.
Yeah.
And I hate.
You can't.
I think I proved this last month before we found Todd Monken how much I hate looking for head coaches. I can't imagine. I got to show everybody how much I hate looking for new general managers. I don't like losing. This is not fun.
Yeah. No, none of it is. Nobody wants to go through this. I just don't know what the alternative is.
I'm not even doing a show. I'm just having therapy. I'm sorry.
And how does that make you feel?
It feels great, John. It's a wonderful feeling. No, I feel like hell. I feel terrible. I mean, my son, you think about this. My oldest son was born in 15. The years they mix up.
Yeah.
I remember he's sitting there in front of me, and we're living in West Park. We're getting ready to move to North Ridgeville. I remember we're watching Johnny. Johnny's on TV, and he's sucking up the room, man. He's sucking up the room real bad. And I remember he's sitting there, and he's got his little Carman Browns jersey on. And I look at him, I go, thank God you are not conscious to know what's going on the TV right now, because this is something. And here we are 10 years later, and, well, he's conscious now. And I got people cussing out each other over guys. I got one guy saying he doesn't know how to work or he isn't working hard enough. This is a different quarterback now. I happen to like this guy. I have hope for him to be at least a passable quarterback, but I think he's got a lot of cards stacked against him here. And frankly, and I know I got mad and I yelled it, I don't think that any of these guys that we've talked about here over the last month have a real great chance to be a quarterback for the Browns in 2027 and 28 and 29. I really do firmly believe that this thing is being set up the way it is, that the guy that we're going to have in 2027 is probably going to be playing for Oregon in 2026 or Texas or Ohio State or Notre Dame or USC. I think that's where, or South Carolina as well. I think that's where we're going with this. Sorry.
You're 100% right. I don't disagree with that.
I don't want to be nasty to anybody, though. I hope that they do well, but hope and the actual plan are two different things.
There's well, Jay Crawford says this to me all the time, and I got a golfing buddy who's probably in his 60s, mid to late 60s, who just gets so angry with the Browns because, like, just one, man. I just want one in my lifetime. And there's less.
I can get you to one in your lifetime. Hopefully, you could live long enough because I think I got a right track for him. But
there's less sand at the top of the glass than there is in the bottom. Like, I'm watching it tick away, and these guys are not going to get me to one. What?
That was a deep statement right there.
Well, I'm just like, I've had that conversation with people who are longtime Browns fans, who are passionate Browns fans, and I feel awful for them that they are in this spot now where this team is in the position that they're in, and it looks hopeless at times.
I'm not Lima and I'll share this real quick. I got a lot of people who want to get in. I'm going to get to you guys at 9:22, I promise. Stay there. We're going to get to you. Lima has had a midlife crisis the last 20 years.
That's the longest midlife crisis I've ever heard of.
Owen, tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah. It's been at least 20 years.
He's not even he's the midlife now.
He is obsessed with what young people think about the Browns, Cleveland sports, us. He's obsessed. And I told him, and I've said this on the air to him, I think you're wrong. It's not about the 10-year-old that isn't a quote-unquote Browns fan.
Yeah.
I think there's like the Browns left in 95 when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
The Browns left when I was 8. There were a lot of us who were like, well, I'll like the Dolphins for 3 years, or I'll like the Bears for 3 years. Not many, a lot of Packers. And they came back when the Browns came back. And it's kind of sewed into the fabric. I said, it's not that issue. Our dads wanted us to come back to the Browns. You're worried about the 18-year-olds and the 20-year-olds. You don't need to be as worried about them. You need to be worried about their dads who are like, I don't care about this anymore. That's it, because dad ties you up, and if they don't give you anything, and if you don't even have a traditional reason to get into them, then no, they're not going to be around. That's the issue. Well, it's their fathers. It's not necessarily if my dad doesn't teach me how to be a Guardians fan, or he was a Dolphins fan. If my dad doesn't teach me, he's still a Dolphins fan. If he doesn't teach me how to be a Cleveland sports fan, am I a Cleveland sports fan? If my uncle doesn't have Browns season tickets and has Browns signatures, and my cousin Jimmy has Browns autographs, am I a Browns fan? Like, if I don't have that emotional tie-in, if the team's not doing very well, and they don't do very well for a long time, and now all the stuff that we identify with is changing, then that's going to be the difficult part. That's why it ain't going to happen this year, and I don't want to just freak out and try to do it, but you got to get on the right path quickly before 2029.
See, I think you both are right. And I think you're kind of saying the same thing in different languages, because I hear what you're saying, and you're right, but I maintain the Browns are losing a generation of fans, whether the dads want the kids to be fans or not. The Browns are losing a generation of fans. My oldest is 23 and 24, just turned 24.
24?
Yeah.
Boy, time does fly.
And he thinks the Browns are a joke. Like, he laughs at the Browns.
How old's your teenage son?
15. And he loves the Browns.
Sounds like Andre the Giant.
He talks like this.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Everyone accuses him of being on steroids because he's jacked. He talks like this.
Your son's on the gas.
He's... if he ever gets on it, watch out.
No, but getting back to the bit, I get what you're saying.
But he's 50, and it was funny, just like yesterday, the day before, he's like, well, thanks, Dad. Thanks for cursing me with this team. Like, why am I a Browns fan? He loves the Browns. And my oldest thinks they're a joke. But if you go through the schools now, I mean, Owen, if you go through the schools in Avon Lake, are they all Browns jerseys? No, they're not. When I was a kid, it was only Browns jerseys. Hanford Dixon came to our school when I was in elementary school, and Ozzie Newsome, and the kids lost their minds.
Congratulations on all your success.
There ain't no success. But the kids today they're wearing Patrick Mahomes, they're wearing Aaron Rodgers, and they're wearing.
Well, you're saying Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That I don't like.
Like and part of it is just like the generation that we're in and everything. I get that. But in Kansas City, are they wearing Joe Burrow jerseys in Kansas City?
Absolutely.
Obviously
so
not.
that's where I think Lima is 100% right. Because it's not the fact that they're 10 and 15 and 24 now. One day, the kids now that are 10 and 15 or 24 are going to have disposable income. They can spend it on this.
That's what I'm saying.
They can spend it on this.
And I'd like to make it a big thing and say that I think that everybody might go through it. Like Kansas City's not always going to have Patrick Mahomes. You're moving to the other state, and you're going to be charging up the you-know-what over there for tickets and for parking and for all the amenities that come with it. Like, there's going to be more on you to be competitive, and you can't just always go back to tradition. A lot of teams are old now.
And a lot of the fans are dying off. A lot of the diehard fans of the Browns who grew up living and dying with this team.
No, that's positive and uplifting. Thank you.
Again, it's not my job to make you feel good. It's my job to just try and pull the curtain back a little bit. So what are you going to do now when the 20-year-olds, the 24-year-olds that laugh at this team are 34 and they got kids of their own and they got disposable income now? Are they going to pay $1,000 to go in your new dome to watch a game? I'm not sure.
If they're good.
If they're good.
They got to be good.
And they better do it fast because they are losing a generation of fans.
Well, can I start in 2027? Because I really don't have a lot of hope for 2026.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think 2026
I can see some building blocks at 2026, but not.
I don't think 26 is real high on their priority list. I think it's getting things in order so that in 2027, when they start marketing this thing and they start trying to sell PSLs and suites and all that stuff, because it'll start like.
It actually makes me feel a little bit better.
What?
Because I don't want them to go crazy and try to save it in 2026, because I don't think it can be saved.
I think the dome is the North Star, and having a product in place to sell it before then is where they're at.
Andrew Berry did do a good job of giving us a little bit of flexibility in a very specific place. I'll tell you where, coming up at 9:23 on The Fan, as well as taking you guys as well. They want to get in on this. Friends, Ken Carman here.
around the world today.
Follow and listen to How We Made Your Mother wherever you get your podcast.
Spring training is underway. Get the biggest news from Florida and Arizona here. Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
I do think Andrew Berry did a good job of getting us a little bit of flexibility. Couldn't help it, because before it was like offensive line. And I got to tell you, now, I got to read more. I need more affirmation. I know a lot of fans. Jason Lloyd is in for Anthony today. I don't know what he is staring at over on his computer screen right now.
I'm trying to read the screen.
Oh, you want to pick the callers?
No, I don't.
Look in the call log for me, Ken.
Go ahead and pick the callers.
And say those words.
Oh, thank you. That's what he was reading. Free agency is here, and keep it locked on 92.3 The Fan for all the latest and breaking news, all powered by Exteriors Plus. I just need to do a little bit more research, phones, the Monroe Freeling thing going up to 6. It's like, oh boy, feels like you're forcing it. And I'm not against it. I'm not saying horrible things yet. He is a natural left tackle, definitely in that's where he plays. But I don't know if I just want to take a guy at 6 and force the issue just because he's a natural left tackle.
Well, that comes down to the question of need versus best available.
Exactly. Well, I mean, because I think a lot of us look at it and go, "Hey, I'm an offensive line guy. I'm offensive line, defensive line." And I see a guy and I go, man, if we can get ourselves a plug-and-play offensive lineman at left tackle for the next 12 years,
of course,
that'd be amazing. But how many guys anymore plug-and-play left tackles? And I think we seriously need to consider, and this is what I think Andrew Berry was, I'm hoping it works out with the offensive line, as at least to some level of success. Because if he went out there and he got some decent offensive linemen and they can cohabitate and can work together and keep guys protected, and George Warhop does a good job with him. It's not that we're laughing, but all right, might make it a little bit easier to go Carnell Tate. Might make it a little bit easier to go Mekhi Lemon. Might make it a little bit easier to go with maybe another position other than just offensive line. Might make it a little bit easier to go, dare I say, damn defense, because you do want to go, quote-unquote, best player available. So it does give you a little bit of flexibility. I do agree with Mary Kay, and I think you might too. I want to get to the phones here in a second. What I think this week also allows them to do, not just flexibility of drafting a position, also, and you need a team to be willing to move up, but also moving out of that number 6 spot and gaining more assets.
I think that's if I had to bet right now, what are they going to do?
That's what they plan to do.
Trade down. That's what I think they would like to do.
Because
now you need a partner, and if the goal is a 27-1. You really got to go down. Really, like you're talking Julio Jones trade all over again.
You got to be hoping, if you're the Browns, and maybe this is part of it. You know, I'm sitting there going, no Ty Simpson, please, no Ty. The world's coming in. Oh, God, high cholesterol. You got to talk up the Ty Simpson thing. You got to get it out there. And maybe some team, because to me, it's hard to make big jumps for other positions.
Which is what made last year so remarkable.
It's much easier to make, you're right, and it's much easier to make a big jump for a position like a quarterback like Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
And if you can get a team that wants to go up and get him, and you know what, say good luck. That's fine by me. You want to give up a first rounder to go up and you take Ty Simpson, brother, you go right on ahead. So if they want to talk up Ty Simpson, there's a lot of me that winces just because.
Well, and the Browns need a quarterback.
I know.
And you're trading out to give somebody else.
I know.
Well,
they could just. I'm hoping that I've prepared for that, because let's call it what it is. I think a lot of people around the league would look at you and go, "Yeah, it's the Browns." Of course, they're not going to take a quarterback when the quarterback's staring them right in the face. They're going to go force it with Shedeur Sanders or God knows who.
What's
and
amazing?
They'll move out of the position.
History has indicated the best place to find a quarterback in the NFL to lead your franchise is the top of the first round. And the Browns now will have consecutive picks in the top 10, and if they don't take a quarterback at either spot when they desperately needed a quarterback, that's just kind of amusing, is it not?
But you could look at a team that is amusing, but you could also make the argument going, okay, they moved out. They're not ready to support that quarterback right now.
Well, the Patriots weren't ready to support Drake May. It worked out all right for them.
I'm trying to give an argument against taking Ty Simpson here, okay? I understand what you're saying. Do you think that Drake May is better than, or do you think that Ty Simpson's as good as Drake May?
No.
Okay.
But
so that's a big difference.
I also think nobody took Jackson Dart seriously last year. Nobody around here.
I don't think Jackson Dart's out of the woods, though, Jason.
Well, but the Giants are celebrating that they have a franchise quarterback. Are they right or are they wrong? I don't know.
Okay, as long as his brains aren't oatmeal by the end of next year.
If Jackson Dart was a quarterback here, would you have concerns of whether or not the Browns have found their quarterback, or would you be
I still
celebrating?
would. Yes, I still would.
I think you'd be running up and down East 9th Street with your shirt off.
I don't run.
You'd be walking
and I
briskly.
don't take my shirt off in public. No, it's not because of me. It's because I know no one wants to see that.
But you hear what I'm saying? Like, the Giants love Jackson Dart. Part of the reason Jim Harbaugh is in New York is Jackson Dart.
He's got arm talent, obviously, and I do think he's a swordsman when he's out there on the field. But
and I'm just guilty of this. My only point is last year, nobody had the Jackson Dart conversation. Nobody thought he was worth taking. And now look.
I got to tell you, man, the history with these quarterbacks in this city, the history with Baker, I go back to Baker. I mean, I fawned over Baker after year one.
Everybody did.
And then year two was such a disaster. Year three was better, but I thought it taught me a hard lesson. And then year four, obviously, the wheels come off. But when I got that history fresh in my mind, yeah, they might take a guy I really like. There's a couple guys, obviously, everybody likes. I'm still going to be leery going into year two. More tape, 8 months off season.
I don't disagree with that.
I'm still going to be kind of soft pedaling it before I go anointing guys because I'm going to have Baker in the back of my head.
Yeah, and that's fair.
There's a shared responsibility there, man.
When you talk about a franchise that's needed a quarterback for 30 years, they've had 2 picks. Like, I can't remember the number now.
I've said it to you a million times. You ain't looking for a quarterback anymore. You're looking for a messiah. And it puts a lot of pressure on that guy.
Well, it does, but the Browns have used a top 10 pick on a quarterback, twice since 99?
Mm-hmm.
Baker
I'm
and
not
Tim
afraid
Couch.
of using a high pick on a quarterback.
I'm just saying, a team that has the Browns have tried to reverse engineer a franchise quarterback for 30 years.
It's never really worked.
It's never really worked, and they're doing it again.
It's not that I'm afraid to use a high pick on a QB. When we get to 2027 and there's supposed to be 4 or 5 guys, hopefully there are. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like the 2026 draft. If you got 4 or 5 guys there, and you're picking 5th or whatever, yeah, you want to move up. You want to take your guy. That's fine. I'm just pointing out, yeah, there might be some days if the guy throws for 340 and they win, I'm going to be celebrating. Even if they throw for 340 and they lose, I'm like, hey, he's looking like a really good QB.
Right.
I know I'm an excitable person, but my memory of Baker ain't going to be that shot. I got to kind of pull back a little bit.
Yeah, and that's reasonable.
Because I think Baker could have been a quality quarterback for you. You gave him too much power way too soon. He messed up. You messed up. I can't just forget that. I'm not trying to scare everybody. I'm not trying to live in my fears. I'm just trying to be honest here. Who do you want me to take? I know you were staring at the phone.
I was just trying to see.
Who do you want me to take? Come on.
I don't care.
I know what you want.
Click on someone. It doesn't matter.
Hey, this guy reminds me. Or this guy backs me up on this. Chris in Chicago. He's listening on the free Odyssey app. Hello.
Hey, guys. Hey, before I get to my football take, so I went to Miami, right? But I'm a big fan of Ohio. I'm a big fan of the MAC. Can I root for another MAC team like Kent or Akron to win the MAC tourney, and Miami will still make it into the Big
You got to root for Miami just to make sure. There's too much conversation about only one team getting in, and if Miami does not get in, if somebody else wins this tournament and Miami does not get in, I think it could have very, very, very bad things that could be happening to the MAC after this. I'm very nervous about that because if you're Miami, you're going, wow, we're 31-0 and we can't get in. Maybe we need to be looking for some other places.
And Rob Cinderhoff's not related to any of them. So.
That's right.
You mess up one thing. You mess up one thing. I got Keith saying, oh, my neighbor texted me. Isn't it his job to know? No, it's not my job to know. It's not my job to know. It's John's job to tell me. How do you like that?
That's pretty funny. Anyway, I guess my original take was I'm not really interested in Kyler Murray. But also, I'm an old school Browns fan. I was at the Red Right 88 game. I'm that old. So if you guys had any questions from an old Browns fan, ask away. I'm just
Jason's that old? Why would I just ask Jason?
No. I'm older than Jason, although my kids are a little younger.
You sound younger than Jason. That's interesting.
How old are you?
In July, I'll be 58.
Oh, yeah, you're older than me. You sound young.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks. Well, Jason, you'd appreciate this. I've told Ken this before. I'm old enough to actually went to a few Cleveland NHL games at the Coliseum. I'm old. Yeah. But anyway.
You are
Kyler
old.
Murray. I know. Well, 58.
So you feel the same way I feel about Kyler Murray, though?
Yeah, I just don't think it's like Ken. Your good phrase with all this is you don't want to waste anybody's time, and that's my.
I think it's a waste of time.
But would you be interested in him next year?
No,
I'm
not a fan of his.
Okay, then you're not in the same boat as Ken. Ken doesn't want him now.
If the Browns
he wants him to marinate for a year.
Okay, Chris, that's not it.
No,
that's not the truth. That's not the truth.
What you
from
said.
Me. I'll tell you.
He wants more seasoning. That's what
Chris,
you said.
Thank you very much
Roll
for the call.
tape.
You sound like a very young 58. Hopefully, we all have that. My issue is if the Browns were coming off of like 7-10 or 8-9. And there are teams that come off of 7-10 or 8-9, and they're like, I don't really feel good about our quarterback situation. And you wanted to go get Kyler Murray, I might be, hold on, damn it, I would just be a little bit more open-minded to it than I am now. I know you're all excited over there to get everybody to cuss me out over Kyler Murray. I know you love it, but I can only be honest. I don't understand how that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, honesty doesn't go over well in this town, Ken.
How does that not... You're getting cussed out from people all over the country, not people in Cleveland. There's a difference. How does that not make sense, Owen? Wouldn't that make sense if we were a better football team and you're like, okay, we need to move on from the quarterback. It's abundantly clear that the QB is holding us back, and you wanted to bring in Kyler Murray. I would be more open to it. I didn't say yes. I did not say yes. I don't think I said yes. I didn't say yes. What's wrong with that? I don't understand being a little bit more open-minded if the team was better, bringing in a veteran that I don't think has a very high ceiling after what we did just see with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you! Thank you!
It took me a minute.
Thank you!
It's a long way to get around it.
I don't understand. See, you're a reasonable person.
No,
that's why I always go to you. What?
No. Well, now you're both
You're
wrong.
not reasonable.
Well, now you're both wrong.
Oh, yeah. Try telling that guy he's wrong. Let's see how that works out for you.
I'd love to give Jason more business on it, but he's taking us over every break by 2 minutes.
And we have to end it right here in this segment. Stay there. All right, tell him why he's wrong in 5 minutes on The Fan.
Brad Evans here to help.
news, and scores every 20 minutes with our 2020 reports. Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Back in the Fan. Are we going after the show, Owen?
We'll see.
That's okay if you can't make it.
Where are you going? I wasn't invited.
No, you don't. I only wake you up for the really important stuff. Yeah. Huh? I'm going to the Miami UMass game.
Yeah.
Do you remember we were supposed to go?
I'm going to see John Gross's brother, half-brother.
What, we were supposed to go where?
You and me and Lima were supposed to go to the MAC tournament.
When?
2020. When I said I'd lick every seat on the plane. You remember that?
Boy, that was a hell of a statement you said that day, boy.
Remember that?
Yep.
We were supposed to go to the MAC
tournament.
about that. I was looking forward to that. That was going to be fun.
We were drinking at a bar downtown. Lima and I was. And Lima and I were drinking at a bar downtown, and Lima's going, I think this tournament's going to get canceled. And I go, really? He's like, yeah. And then sure as hell, and Lima goes, I go, what do we do? And I was like, do we go home? And Lima goes, the bar's still open. Might as well finish this off. I go back and get my car the next day.
Yeah. And I remember a statement from the Cavs saying that they've got really good air filters, so we're just going to forge on.
Oh, God, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't know if it was the MAC. I don't know if it was the MAC tournament or if that was what event it was.
It was 6 years ago. I said a lot of crazy things.
I mean, I did too.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you were going to lick every seat on the plane.
I just didn't take it seriously at first.
Oh, my gosh.
I just got home from Arizona. Actually, I was in the air coming home from spring training when Rudy Gobert tested positive, and it was like a movie where the world was one way when the plane took off, and it was a totally different world when that plane landed. It was wild.
You're making me nervous about the old times. Lyman nearly falling asleep in his bed doing the show.
The birds chirping in the background.
The birds chirping in the background. One of the things that they did, though, because Kenny took it seriously. Lima depends on the day. Depends on what he wanted to do. I'll never forget. I told this story in the air. He came home from Miami. He went to Miami and came back, and he's like, I don't know what we're going to do. Nobody's taking this seriously. We're going to be shut down again. I go, you were just in Miami, you ass. What are you talking about? That shows you how dense he could be about this stuff.
They would rotate days. And Ken would stay home and stare out the window at the swamp.
Whoa, look at that one. I swear to God, it's in the backyard right now.
Yeah, and when it opened up a little bit, we'd rotate days. You're right. And the one time Kenny, kid, he had beers. He took Lima beers, and he was chucking them up to Lima. And they sent me a video because he was chucking them up to his balcony because you couldn't stand close to each other. That's what he was doing. It was crazy. It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin getting it from the bell ringer guy. 216-474-0092. All right, the timekeeper. That's what they are. All right. Drake in Cleveland. Hello, Drake.
What's going on, Ken? How you doing today?
Are you calling just to make me mad, or what are you trying to do?
No, I wanted to tell you, don't let Jason bully you because you don't want Kyler Murray. It's okay. We want to develop. We want to actually put some work in developing a quarterback from now. But I wanted to talk to Jason, though.
Drake and I are on the same side. This is wild. Okay, continue. Go ahead there,
It
Drake.
is.
Tell him.
I said the same thing.
Tell him.
But, Jason.
Yes, sir.
The thing is, you have 25 years of experience, and people recognize that. It's definitely recognizable. People know your name. You know, when you say something, it becomes news all of a sudden, some kind of way. But the thing is, you seem to believe that when you hear something, that means it's factual. It doesn't. It just means someone had an opinion.
No.
Just like the people that called this show have an opinion.
Ooh.
And let me finish because I know you got a rebuttal. But just like the people that follow this show have an opinion, just because you hear something from a general manager or a president or owner, it doesn't make it factual until it happens on the football field.
No, you're right. A guy on the street calling
something.
into a show has a much more valid stance on things than someone who actually works in the building.
Point.
No, it is.
Ooh, I don't know, man. There's been
is.
some boobs who've worked in that building in the last 27 years.
Wrong. People can be wrong. Even then you just say the owner, listen to a homeless person, draft a quarterback, and he did it. Like people can have certain opinions and they can go wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Of course, guys can have wrong judgment when it comes to who to pick and who not to pick. It's my job to sort of validate where the information is coming from and who's the one who's saying it. Because I get told a lot of weird things sometimes that don't ever make it to the public. And that's the job.
What's the weirdest thing that hasn't been made to the public?
No, I'm not doing that.
I almost got him.
I'm not doing that. It's my job to decipher, is this,
Drake, I gotta let you go. Thank you for the call.
A credible source or not? And that's the part of the job. Just because people don't like hearing it doesn't mean it's not true.
Chuck in Old Brooklyn, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Chuck.
Yo, what's up?
Hi,
man, y'all dudes got on black today because it's like a funeral. Y'all
actually, we do have on black.
We're
both wearing
we
black.
are wearing black. I'm sorry.
Jason Lloyd is like Paul Bearer today. It's crazy.
Oh, yes!
This is what I want to say. The division we in, 10 games won it last year. Do y'all think the other 3 teams beside us actually got better?
Do you think that we are in a position to win 10 games this year?
Definitely.
Oh.
We follow through now with the moves we've been making and act like we trying to win, because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like we trying to win.
Hey, Chuck, listen, I'm not going to sit there and say, like, oh, you're wrong, and
we haven't even had the
tear
draft.
you down.
We haven't even had the draft.
I got to get to OTAs, man. I got to see him in OTAs.
I want to talk about the offensive line additions that nobody's talking about. Jenkins had over 6,000 snaps with only 9 sacks. And Titus coming in with 696 passing snaps with no sacks. Why nobody's talking about?
No, we talked about all. We talked about all those. We talked about all those things.
How much better that we got, though? It's kind of like y'all just saying these guys trash and that we're not trying to win.
So the Houston Texans are just in the business of giving up good football players, and the Packers are just in the business of giving up good football players, and
that's called salary cap casualty. It had to happen.
If they really wanted to hold on to him, somehow we all find, with the exception of Tyler Linderbaum, I'll give you that. They say, well, I don't know if I trust Eric DeCosta very much. But I'm going to tell you this. Very rarely does a guy who's really, really, really good and really, really important hit free agency. Chuck, I want you to be right, okay? Because I got to protect whatever quarterback's back there. I don't want ill will towards any of them quarterbacks, all right? Whoever, if it's Dylan Gabriel, I don't care. I don't want anything bad to happen to any of them QBs. I want them to have the best chance to do it. But I got to get to OTAs and at least see how these guys are working before I start to make any bold proclamations about what this team's going to do.
Quick question.
All right,
please.
Go ahead, quick.
Todd Monken, is he the guy with the division that we in that you guys think we should have chose because he's got all type of familiarity and he's been beaten up on the division, and one, he know how to beat Lamar? I tell you, Chuck, thank you very much for the call. I don't have any ill will towards, I don't have a problem with hiring Todd Monken. I don't have anything bad to say about him right now. Hopefully I don't have anything bad to say in the future. Those things are all selling points to me. If he's the best, most capable coach for the position, then fine. I understand why some of the 30-year-olds didn't necessarily want to take this job, but and I understand why Todd Monken, in so many ways, because of his age, had to take the job.
Yep.
But they could have. I've seen them hire way worse. We all have. Hate to say it, he was a nice guy. They've hired way, way worse in the past. They could have hired way, way worse. No, I think that those are all selling points to Todd Monken. I see that. But when they make so many moves across the offensive line, and I don't have much familiarity with any of them, we got to get to at least OTAs and training camp and probably the season before we start making bold proclamations about them. Because it'd be a hell of a coaching job if you get 5 strangers, probably not perfect strangers, they probably met each other in the past, but you get 5 strangers in there, it's tough to do that. That'd be a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who joined us today. Mary Kay was excellent. Danny Cunningham is with me tomorrow. Hey, thanks for the time, Jason. Really, I appreciate it.
Hey, anytime. That's what I'm here for.
Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Cavs. Hey, sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Oh, boy.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
You should believe